Welcome to the I'm Such a Pisces podcast. We're two friends taking an explorative journey into all things astrology and a little woo. I'm Christine. I'm a creative, intuitive counselor and coach, and astrology enthusiast. We Pisces like to wear all the hats. You can find me on IG at The Dreamy Piscean.
And I'm Shelby. I am a licensed social worker, a big feelings person, and a light skeptic. Here to learn all the astrological things. You can find me on Twitter at Shelby Tweeting, and being a Cancer rising on Instagram at Shelby Cooking Things. Welcome to our show.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another week of the I'm Such a Pisces podcast. My name is Christine.
And I'm Shelby.
And welcome to this episode. We've got, some fun things to discuss this week, I think.
I agree. Some fun things and then some not so fun things.
And
But
some not so fun things.
We'll do it in a fun way.
We'll try. Yeah. Maybe the meats is not necessarily fun, but it's more fun to talk about than for it to happen to us.
Yes, absolutely. We can talk about it. We can deliver the message to you in a very fun way.
Yes, we will definitely deliver it in a fun way.
We will deliver. We always deliver.
Well, how are you doing this week, Shelby?
Honestly, really good. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. So one, my last day of my current job, the job that I had most recently, was Friday. And now I've got a couple weeks off before I start my next job. And I'm just like, the second that okay, so I quit that job. I have a couple weeks off, and also I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but Venus and Taurus is happening right now. So we'll talk more in detail about that later. But immediately it was Friday. I went home. I have also had several days to myself because it feels like everybody I know is out of town, probably because it's summer vacation time and I'm not going on vacation.
Don't you love it?
Yeah. I don't hate it because I have just been really enjoying myself. I took unemployment very seriously that first day I came home from work. I took a nap. I made myself dinner at 2 p.m. because I can. Fuck it. So we're having a good time. We're having a pretty good time over here. It's chill.
I love that. There is a lot of value in time with yourself. And so, I have lots of that.
Yes. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice to have when you don't get it super often. The balance is nice.
Balance is beautiful. I'm trying to balance it out.
I've been trying to balance it the other way. But how have you been?
I have been pretty good. This was also my first week off work for summer break. We have a 5-week break. And so, week 1 down, which, pretty good. Just been a little here and there. But yeah, I feel good. I've gotten back on my skates, as you know.
Hey, proud of you.
Yes. I actually did a little bit this morning. I was like, I'm gonna test out skating in the parking garage of my building. I was like, if I go really early, like on Sunday, not many people will be moving around in my building at that hour. I did see someone going walk of shame of any sort. So there's no shame in my mind. But I did see a man and a woman come down and they talked to me or whatever. And she left, she's like, be careful. And she left. So I was like, oh, I wonder, maybe that was a little.
She's carrying a pair of shoes in the hand.
She definitely had things with her.
Yeah. So. Wearing a big t-shirt or something.
I mean, she had scrubs on, but maybe she's going to work from there. But I was like, oh, okay. Maybe she might live there. I don't know. I just was like, oh, it's early. But maybe if she's a nurse, then maybe, that might have made sense.
Well, that's true. But I like to, I don't know. I love
the scandal of
imagine.
It's my Aries placement. I
always
rendezvous.
The Aries placements and the Pisces placement, dreaming up a scenario for these strangers that you just met.
Okay, just in the parking garage. I'm over here just trying to skate. But anyways, yes, we got back to it. This morning was it was interesting because I felt like the soreness kind of went away from the first day, but then what I realized is the soreness takes longer in that groin area.
Oh God, yes.
Girl.
When you start working those muscles you haven't worked in a while.
Yes.
Oof. Especially skating will do that too, because all of a sudden you're engaging stuff that really just doesn't
Something
get
that does
engaged any
not
other
get
way.
engaged. Yeah.
It's not the same as walking.
No.
It's not the same as running even.
No.
There's, like, yeah, very few other movements that make you
That
engage those
mimic that.
muscles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I mean, the ways that you move your feet, the way you shift your balance on your
Mhm.
skates and different the
Mhm.
movements that you have to do, like, there's so many different kind of muscles. I mean, that's why it's such a great workout
It is.
because it engages, like, I mean, your whole body is going to be maybe outside your arms, but,
But
like,
yeah,
maybe depending, like,
depending on
maybe
how you were balancing yourself, especially, I actually just had an experience where I derby is over, and so I have not been on skates in a little bit, and I
Mhm.
had the thought the other day that, like, I was like, "Oh, Shelby, it's been, like, a full month since you've done any kinda cardio because skating was the cardio," and
Yeah,
so I went to the gym because I do that to, like, lift weights and stuff, and I was like, "You know, I should probably do, like, a few minutes on the
some
treadmill or
cardio.
something just to
Mhm.
kinda get the heart rate up," and I ran on the treadmill, and I
Oh,
was
wow.
like, my whole not for very long. I was running for, like, half a mile at a 10-minute pace.
Hey,
I was
see.
not going very fast. Um, but I was like, it almost felt like it had been so long since I had run
Uh-huh.
that, like, I feel like my body didn't know what it was doing. Like, the muscles are engaged in such a different way. Like, I was like, "This feels, like, awkward almost." Like, I'm
Yeah.
not used to doing this because 'cause I'm so used to the, like, very smooth, fluid movement of skating,
Mhm,
and running
mhm.
is just, like, it felt so
Clunky. It's like,
clunky.
uh-huh,
Like, I was like,
uh-huh.
I already don't like running."
Yeah, yeah. I cannot and I can't do a tread I think maybe it's just a self-conscious thing. I think I've always felt a, like, self-consciousness about trying to run on a treadmill being
Yeah.
someone that's a
It's
little
kind of
heavier.
scary. I just
Well, I'm
don't
just
yeah.
thinking about, like, like, I think about the sound of a heavier person hitting that treadmill, you know what
That's
I mean?
fair.
Like, if that makes me feel a way.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's not my favorite way to run anyway, and
I'm
it
gonna do
just
an elliptical all day.
yeah. Honestly, I think I should pick up the elliptical. I think it's kind of underrated
That's my girl. The
because she's
elliptical is my girl. Yep,
fluid
she's fluid.
movement,
You don't
and
got to
you
hear
still get that
nothing.
cardio
You
in.
still get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the treadmill just I'll walk, I'll do an incline walk on the treadmill, but
Yes.
I ain't never gonna run on a treadmill.
I try to do like if I am gonna do it, I'll walk for a few minutes, do a little incline walk, and then
Mhm,
I'll put the incline down, and then I'll
mhm,
run for a few minutes, and then I'll do
uh-huh,
that, back and forth, back and forth.
yeah,
But like it just it doesn't feel quite. I feel like a hamster on a wheel sometimes. Like
mhm,
there's better
yeah,
ways to get this exercise. But I was just there. I was trying to do it quick, so
yeah, and
you
you just
know.
again, just trying to get the heart rate up a bit,
Hmm.
get your cardio. But
Yeah.
I mean, that was my plan. I'm like, "Okay, if I can use the skating for my cardio,
Hmm.
and then I can go to the gym and do some weights,
Yeah.
that's a good little blend." And
Yeah.
then, if I can work in playing pickleball, I
There you
think I'm gonna
go.
join a club. I think
Yes.
that's, there are a few
Fun for the
opening up.
summer.
Yeah, and just, there's a place out, well, Harding Road, you know where that is. Everyone, if they're not from
Shouts
Nashville, they don't
out.
know what I'm talking
If
about.
you know Nashville,
Harding
you
Road,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a pickleball spot that opened up in that gym or that old gym there, and so they have like a free clinic class that you can come
Mm,
in and just kind of learn the
okay.
basics.
Yeah.
A way to reel you in, hook you in.
I know,
And
they
I
do
was like,
yeah,
"Look, you
they're
can
good
hook
at
me
that.
because I'm interested. Okay,
Right, it's working.
I want to get hooked in because I'm trying to." Get in and learn like the actual game. Like I can hit back and forth all day, but like,
Yes.
there are actually rules to the
There's
game.
actual rules, yeah, exactly.
So, learn the game, but then also built in finding people to play with. So that I'm not like, do you play pickleball?
"Do
Is there
you
any
wanna play do
friends?
you
Will you
wanna
play
play with
pickleball
me?
with me?
Do you wanna play with me?"
You want to
Like
play
a
with
little kid.
So, yes, able to meet some people because they do have a cute little pickleball set up. Do you remember the Bobby Hotel downtown?
Yes.
One of the little boutiques. So they on their rooftop, they have like on a certain day on the weekends, whatever, they have like a little
Cute.
pickleball club
Okay.
and like you can pay to play, but they
Mhm.
got the bar and stuff up there. I was like, I should just go
Yeah.
one day and just like hang out and see
Yeah.
who's all up there. I'm sure people got their little skirts and their little
Who all over
dresses and
there?
shit on.
Yes,
I
exactly.
love the fashion. I'm here for the
Part of
looks.
it. Look,
Yes.
I hate golf, but I want Sam to take me golfing so I can wear a cute little
Yes.
golf outfit and
Okay.
just, like, sit in the cart and be a little golf slut, like
Yes. Yes.
I just think that would be fun. I don't
We
know.
love a sport that comes with an outfit, okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
We love a
Exactly.
little pleated skirt, a little, a little white shoe,
Right? Right? It's cute. It's
a
giving.
little
Okay.
vest, okay,
Yes.
like
A
a
little
bow in the
collared shirt,
hair.
a little
Okay, a
visor.
little okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's not my regular, personality, but like I can try it on. I can try
We
it on.
love to
Yes.
okay,
All the
no.
golf bros are going to be in the comments like my culture is not your costume. Okay, whatever. Leave me alone.
I love it. So anyways, that's how I'm doing.
Good. Okay. We're kind of on the same vibe. I think it's very
Yeah.
free right now just because I think we're
Yes.
both off work and it's ugh,
So
I
lovely.
think everybody deserves a summer, even if it's just like a week or two. Like it is freeing.
Yes. You're like, "Oh, what is it to let go of, like, all of" well, maybe this is not everyone when they go on break, but, this is why this length of break is perfect for me
Mhm.
because I do tend to let go of
Mhm.
everything. It's just
Right.
like, what schedule, what I have kept my alarm on, so my 5:30 alarm does still go
Oh,
off on the
5:30, girl.
weekdays. I know, I know. I have to well, there's a science to it because, I've gotta have
Of
time to
course.
linger in the bed
That's true.
and then get up at by a certain time. Then there's like a, that
Mhm.
time it's like you need things need
That's
to be
valid.
happening
That's
by this.
valid. We're the same in that regard, but my, like, original going off alarm doesn't even happen until 7:30, and then I linger until about 9, and then we're like,
See,
"Okay." And then I'm late
uh
for
huh,
work every day of
uh-huh.
my life. I'm
I was
always
like, I
late.
see how this happens, girl. 6:30. Shelby
Yeah.
said, "I'm gonna get that sleep." I see. I won't be
Look,
asleep that long, so that's the problem is I'll be awake and then I feel worse because I'm like, you had time.
you had time. Yeah,
You had
that's the
plenty
worst
of
part.
time. You were up.
That's
You were
yeah.
awake. You could have been on time, and you were dilly
It doesn't matter.
dallying.
It literally does not matter how much time you give me. I'm gonna dilly-dally. I'm gonna be late.
Baby, I'm a dilly dally, okay? Well, I'll be doing all kind of stuff in the morning. It's not rolling a joint for later,
Right. Right. Literally.
because that's important.
I think I need to put in a load of laundry right now.
Okay.
I think yeah, I don't know, just
Does this
any little
actually need to
thing.
happen before work? Like
Yes. Yeah,
all
it's a
kind of stuff.
problem.
Just doing just the
It's
most. Like, oh,
just
I need to water these plants real quick.
task
No.
avoidance. I'm just doing the preferred tasks so I can
Yeah.
avoid doing the tasks that I don't want to do. It's fine. I'm aware of it
It's
at least.
wild. Pick out a different outfit. You already laid out what you're gonna wear. Actually, I'm not feeling that today now that I woke up.
Now that I woke up, I changed my mind. The vibes are different now.
The vibes are different, and now I need to wear something else. Now I
Maybe
gotta figure that
I'm
out.
gonna lay out the clothes I'm gonna wear when I get home from work. Because the first thing I do when I get home is take my fucking clothes off.
Like, okay, where's my loungewear? Hello, yes,
I put
or nothing.
a friend of mine a Snapchat the other night, and she said, "You're wearing clothes at home. Are you feeling okay?" And I was like, I love to be
Touche.
in my house naked.
In the nude. Okay. That's the joy of having
What
your
is
own
the point
home.
of living alone if you can't just be naked all the time?"
You know? It's one of the things I have to remind myself of. It's like I can be naked. Now,
You
half the
have
time
free
I have
will.
my window open, so I can't really just be in here naked unless
Mhm.
I close the blinds.
Right.
But I mean,
You
well,
can, but then you gotta deal with the
give them give
implications,
them a show, It's
Yeah,
like, hey, if you're on the second or third or fourth level,
they
like,
can count. Yeah.
look up. Might catch some.
Okay.
Though I will say my plants at this point are providing such a blind in my window
Oh,
that,
that's
like,
nice.
I feel like I probably could be sitting here right now nude, and probably no one would be able to see it
Probably.
because the plants have grown so much that, like, I don't think people can actually see inside my
And
apartment.
that's on you being a good plant mom, okay?
Okay.
Look at you,
Some of them
keeping
need
that
some
shit
new
alive.
pots, and, that's another story. We'll get there. Some of them are desperately needing new
Well,
pots.
you can't keep them all alive all the time. It's a lot of work if you're really taking care of everybody, okay?
Yeah. I mean, like, they're alive and they're well, but, like, they would be better if they had a
Could
bigger
be better.
pots.
That's really what
They
it
would
is.
get
It's like
bigger, so much
all
bigger.
of my plants are alive and they're
Great.
doing okay, but they all could probably be doing better.
And, give me more room to work with. My poor
Mhm.
monstera girl, it is that's the real I'm like, it's probably actually declining because I have not repotted and the pot is just so small and the
It's a
roots are
task.
just
Once they get big like that, it's such a
Yeah.
task to, like, take everything. I didn't repot mine, but recently I took mine out of the pot that it was in. It was fine. It
Yeah.
hasn't totally outgrown it, but I did replace all the soil, like, clean it out from the inside because I
Mhm.
think there was some root rot, like, a long time ago, and it just kinda
Uh-huh.
got, like, I don't know, it just hasn't been the same after that, and it's done a lot better, but, oh my god, it was a pain in the ass because
It's
it's
a
huge.
pain. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Imma take mine somewhere. Because it's the likelihood of me, I mean, and I don't have an outdoor space, so I'm like,
Yeah,
I would have to do it in here, and I'm like, "That's a lot."
yeah.
So, I feel like I'm gonna take it somewhere, and maybe I'll take it to, what's it called, out in Old Hickory, and
Oh,
I think
yeah.
if I buy the pot for them, they'll pot it for me? I can't remember. If you buy the
Most
plant, they'll
places
pot
will
it.
if
You buy
you buy a
something.
pot there, as long as
Yeah.
they have the soil and everything. If it's a
Yeah.
plant place, they will do that for you.
Yeah, I think they did. I was trying to remember the order because I don't know if it works both ways. I know if you buy a plant there, they'll pot it
Yeah,
in a pot for
in a
you,
pot for you, yeah.
but I don't know if you already have the plant and you just are buying the pot. I don't know,
It's
but
it's
I
worth
can call.
asking.
Those are
Exactly.
things for me to work out.
But
Not
we'll
for the
figure it out.
podcast.
We'll figure it out. We can get it done.
Anyways,
Do we wanna do our co-stars today?
yes, let's get into the coast.
Okay. So I just pulled mine up and this feels so I feel again like I have been just the last couple of days like in a really good mood. I also think like
Mhm.
cyclically like where I am. I know this about myself like hormones going up, mood is good, hormones going down, mood not so
Mhm.
good. I just have to stay aware of that shit so I can be like I won't feel like this forever. My life isn't terrible. I just,
Just
not
going through a
ovulating right now or
shift.
whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So, I've been trying to keep that in mind, but I've been in a very good mood for the last couple of days. And what my co star is saying is when you're feeling unhappy all the time, it's time for a change. Just funny because, like, I am feeling really good, but there was a little time period where I was like, I can't wait for this job to be over. I'm like feeling very stressed. And now
Mhm.
things have changed. I'm feeling pretty good.
And we're
So it'll happen. Although I will say, just generally, this is kind of a more emo co star than what I'm actually feeling, but I'm keeping it
yeah.
in mind.
Yeah.
Because my do's include angry poetry, gnashing teeth, and outbursts. I'm allowed to have an
Very
outburst
angry,
today.
very
So
angry.
if I have
Lots
an
of
outburst on the podcast, I'll let you know. Well, you'll know.
please let me know.
You will know. You will know.
Let me know ahead if you feel it coming on.
Yeah. Well, I think we should pause.
It's like, right, like, we oh, okay, let's take a
Oh, okay.
pause.
My don'ts today include screens. Whoops. I've got three whole screens in front of me right now.
Yeah.
Moldy bread. I hope we're never doing moldy bread.
Okay, quick side note.
Go on.
My dad this reminded me of my dad,
What?
unfortunately. So, I was telling my parents how, they're no good for snacks anymore. Like, we used to be able to come over to the house
Hmm.
and, like, there'd be snacks and things there,
No,
and,
not
like,
anymore.
my dad being in and out of being pre-diabetic and this,
Right.
that, and that. Like, you're not gonna find, like, cookies and stuff around.
Right.
Problem is, sometimes you would still find cookies, but they would be so old. And I'm like, "Daddy, what are you doing?" And
No.
I'm like,
Throw it
"Daddy, these cookies
away.
are a month old." He's like, "Oh, they still got it." I'm like, "Daddy, these cookies are over a month old. Like, you need to throw this away." So he, a couple weekends ago, went to his 50th class reunion. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. And there was one of his classmates made this cake. And so I was over there a couple days ago and he was like, "That's the cake." I'm like, "Where does this cake come from?" And my mom was like, "She still got this cake from the reunion and stuff 2 weeks ago." And I'm like, "Daddy," like, I was like, "That cake is probably moldy." And he's like, "Oh no, it's still good." And my mom picked it up. It literally had mold on it. And he did not want to throw it away. Like, girl, I'm like, "What's
Gross.
wrong with you?"
Gross.
He just any sugar he can hang on to, he just
Just please no.
I'm like,
I didn't
"Sir,
get to eat
please
it.
eat fresh food, like, what is going
Right.
on with you?"
I really try not to waste food. Like, I will,
Mhm.
cut a spot out of a vegetable or a fruit or
Yeah,
something, but I have limits. Like, if one piece of something has mold on it, whole
I'm throw
thing's
the
going in
whole
the
thing
trash.
in the trash, yeah,
And I
like,
know some
"No."
people will like cut the mold off a piece of cheese or something and then still eat it. And I'm like, mm-mm, I
Once
won't.
I've seen it, I just can't
I
even
can't not think about it.
mentally, yeah.
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
psychological block that I
Yeah. I will say Sam will, like, leave he will eat a stale bag of chips, and I'm like, "We don't
we
have
don't
to
have
live
to.
like this. We can buy new chips." I will buy a new thing of chips, and he'll be like, "These are still pretty good." And I'm like, they
What
taste
is
stale.
that?
And he's like, no, they taste fine to me. Like, I don't know if he legitimately just doesn't taste it the same way that I do. But like, if a bag of chips is open for more than a week, it's done.
Yeah.
It's done. I
Yeah.
gotta just eat
Yeah.
it or let it go.
Yeah. There's a threshold of freshness.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like it doesn't mean, it's not edible, but I'm like, it becomes less enjoyable to eat.
Exactly. And half of my reason for eating is because it is enjoyable to me.
Hello?
Okay.
Because it's certainly not for health.
For pleasure, for chips, especially. Like if
Right.
it's a chip, I don't need it that bad. I either won't eat it or I'm gonna eat it the way I like it. Anyway, so we're not
Right.
doing any
Okay.
moldy bread
No
today,
moldy bread.
or stale chips for that matter.
Right. None of that.
We're we're also not doing memory lane today. So we're
All
not
right.
being nostalgic. And that's hard for me.
No cancer streets for you.
No,
Get out
nope.
of the cancer streets.
That's right. Trying to put that one away.
Which is funny because we'll definitely be talking about some nostalgia later.
We sure will. But that's okay. What
But
light
it might
nostalgia
not
is
be your
okay.
nostalgia,
Might not be mine.
honestly.
Somebody's nostalgia is what
My
we'll
my
be talking about. All right. What's your co-star giving
okay.
today?
My co-star says, plan a new outfit.
Always.
We
Always.
love to plan a
Okay.
new outfit.
Permission.
Now, that didn't say buy a new outfit, it said
It did.
plan.
Said plan. That's right. You're right.
So I am going to swallow my pride
Hmm. Hey.
and low stakes.
Okay. Cute.
I don't know about low
Well,
stakes, not low bar. Low
that's right.
stakes.
Not,
Right.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
very different.
Yes.
Low
Okay.
stakes is like
Yes.
a
Right.
fling. We're just having a little bit of fun.
Right. We're just having a good time.
Yeah.
It's like not the bar is low. The bar
Not
not
to
low.
be confused
Okay.
with.
We just need to make sure we clarify these things. Okay.
Hmm.
Don't read receipts.
Okay.
Okay. Last word
Hmm.
and tense shoulders. Like it's a
Ooh,
whole pull them up and let them down.
there we go.
Let them
Roll them out a
down.
little bit.
Okay.
Roll
Roll
them
them.
out. Take a hot
Yeah.
shower. Let them, yes, there we
Did I
go.
tell you? Okay. This is the last tangent for this moment. I think I did tell you that my hot water heater was broken for like a week.
No,
Did I tell you that?
you might have. I don't think you did. I don't remember that.
So it wasn't last week. I think last week it got repaired. It was the week before that.
Hmm.
And yeah, because I think I was still at work.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm like,
Okay.
how many days? Oh, yeah, because it was over the holiday weekend. That's what it was. I
Okay.
discovered it. I noticed it Thursday, but I thought it was like, okay, maybe I just ran the water too long or something.
Yeah.
I knew it hadn't been that long. And then Friday it was cold again. I was like, okay, what's going on
Yeah.
with the water? So I put a
What's
little
happening?
maintenance request in. The guy calls me and tells me your hot water heater needs to be replaced. He's like, problem is, we're not going to be able to get it replaced till Tuesday or Wednesday. Then he wanted me to
Mm,
call him back, and I didn't really understand what for because I
right. You
was like,
already
I
just
mean,
order the part
just
and come
order
in
it
when
and
you're
get it
ready.
done. Like
Yeah.
whenever it's ready. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't do nothing. What am I going to call you with my upset about this? No.
Right. What do you
What was
want?
that? Right, so I didn't call him. So, anyways, it got fixed on that Wednesday. But so now I don't know. Well, they do. They need to turn it down. But the water is
Oh,
so fucking hot.
so hot. Yeah.
Like even when I run the sink, the steams up the mirror to the point I have to. I washed my hands the other day and forgot, and I mean quickly remembered,
Yeah.
like because that shit burned my hand. I was like, and you got that little glaze, and like, oh, you got a little burn, like that little
Yeah.
glaze on your skin. You got that little minor burn.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that because yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize, like, there's a couple the last, like, couple houses that I lived in, I didn't realize that you could turn the hot water heater down and that you were
Mhm.
supposed to. I was just like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this is just the water's just really hot here,"
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
crazy. Like, why didn't you just fix that? Like,
Right. Why would you just leave that up? Because and I need to tell him to do it, but it's the weekend. Well, I can tell him tomorrow. But yeah, I'm like, it is
yeah.
so hot. Like even brushing my teeth, if I use the hot water,
Mhm.
like I'm like, oh my God. Like
Yeah.
that's just like that's insane.
That
So
I think
yeah.
the first time I really learned about that was working at the job that we used to have because we would get a lot of
Mm,
report we would get CPS reports where like a child would end up with a burn and it was totally accidental
hmm.
because somebody
The
forgot to turn
water.
their shit down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're a little kid, you're just like, you turn on the water or whatever. Like, yeah, that can really
Yeah.
fuck you up.
Hmm. Hmm. Like, cause I mean, yeah. definitely burn the skin hot.
Yeah. Oof.
So yeah, sorry, that just my mind went
No,
there.
yeah.
It's
Look,
like,
we got time for tangents today.
we got it. So yes, all right.
Wait, did you just do do's or did you do don'ts?
Was that all the don'ts? I did don'ts,
You
and
did
I did
don'ts.
the
Okay, sorry.
do's.
Yeah.
Yeah, tense shoulders was the
10 shoulders
last
was a don't. That's right.
don'ts.
So we're
Yes.
not doing 10 shoulders today.
Relax the shoulders, a little
Relax.
shoulder shimmy. I'm good for a shimmy.
Good for a shimmy.
Okay, like shimmy it out, shake the titties, you know.
Perfect.
Great for that.
Perfect.
It's my go-to move. Shake
Shake
the
and shimmy.
titties.
I don't
Shimmy
have
and
enough
shake.
titties to shake, really,
Push them
truly.
together, girl. Push.
Because but then you get stiff. Then you got one of these. Like, what is this?
Do your bend and snap.
I think yes, there we go. I'm more of a bend and snap. Sorry to anyone who cannot see us right now. I'm glad actually that you didn't see that little shimmy
Yeah.
shake I just did. It's not cute.
Wait.
Anyway,
Okay, I have one more tangent
okay,
for
carry on.
because I saw. Okay, I get into the trends these days and like what's becoming popular, and so I was reading this article about micro shorts, like fold over
Oh
micro
yes, I'm
shorts are like
familiar.
the new wave.
I'm
And so I
familiar.
saw this girl on
Ass
Broadway,
out.
yes. And that's what my point about this was. So I saw this girl on Broadway one day. Last weekend when I was walking to get my smoothie and she had some of them on. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, this is who this is for.
hmm
Very thin white girl.
Yes,
Like, wasn't
not
a
a
lot
lot of
happening
ass
in the
to
back.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I mean, that seam came just below the cusp
hmm
of the very
You see,
small
just
behind that she had.
a small amount of
Just,
cheek.
just no cheek for
No
her
cheek.
because
No
it
cheek.
came right below
Okay.
because she there wasn't a lot there, so it
Right.
actually covered. But I'm
hmm
like, that is a pair of panties, like a little boy short panty. That's
Basically, yeah.
definitely what that is. Well, that's what they're talking about. Okay, that looks like somebody's volleyball shorts,
Yes.
like like
Yeah.
girls that wear those short shorts for the sport or whatever.
hmm
I'm like, so this is where this happens. So because that still what I'm seeing, people are not they don't feel a way about. Now put that on a girl with some ass
Then
and
it's a
you have
problem.
cheeks out. Her
Then
ass is
it's
out.
a problem.
It's a
Yes.
problem. And she has on panties in the streets. Because I'm like, if I put that on, my ass is out.
My ass
Like
is
a
all the way.
lot of it is out. And I'm like, no, that's
See,
not from us.
it's funny because I'm on the side of TikTok where a lot of people are currently talking about, there's controversy about like people talking about gym wear going too far. Like, you
Mm,
don't need your whole ass
mm.
out in the gym. But it's
Uh-huh.
the same kind of thing. It's because most of the girls that are going to the gym
Mm-hmm.
have the very muscular ass. And
Yes.
so it's like it is kind of all the way out there. And
Yeah.
every once in a while, like we'll get a sidelong glance from an old lady at the gym who's like, put some clothes on. Right.
Am I the old ladies in the gym? No.
No, no, not at all. But I know that it's a fine line because there'll be these like, little high school girls in there that are wearing the same thing, but
Mhm.
it looks different
It looks different
because
because your
I'm a
body
grown
is
woman.
structured different. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's always how it goes. Like I remember my mom, this whole thing when she was the director over her agency, and this was still years ago at that time,
hmm
but when they had to make the decision that like, across the board leggings could not be worn to work
Yeah,
because, it looks different on different bodies.
exactly.
It looks opaque on the hanger, and then you put it on your body, and I see everything. And
hmm
like, we don't really need to see what kind of panties you got, the
Right.
prints, and all the things
Not in
at
this
the
field.
workplace.
Yes.
Like we just don't need to see that in the workplace at all, unless you work in, places that people go to see, your
That kind of
undergarments.
thing. Yes,
You know,
exactly. Exactly.
so,
That also reminds me, sorry, so many tangents today. This is going to
yes,
be a long episode. I can already feel it.
I love it.
So, I was driving the other day. I was like going to a client's house from a different client's house, and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. The point is, I saw this guy on a motorcycle, girl on the back wearing leggings. And when you sit on the back of a motorcycle, everything kind of stretches a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
saw this girl's whole, she was wearing, they were black leggings, but they were completely see-through. It was very
Uh-huh.
sunny outside too. So it was just like, wow. I'd like saw this lady's whole yellow thong underneath
Oh
a
yeah.
pair of black leggings. I'm like, I
Yeah.
could see her whole ass. Like, I almost wanted to be like, hey, like, cause you're on the back of a
Well,
motorcycle. Like,
you
it's
don't know.
out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm like,
It is, because the
there's
way
no
you
way
have
she
to
knows.
sit,
There's
yeah,
no
your
way she
legs are
knows.
open
Yeah.
around the back of another body, like, yeah.
Like, she wasn't even trying to show yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
And,
you just check.
and not to be prudish, and, like, I'm for everybody, where do you.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
really am, but I'm like, am I just getting old? Maybe it's my age, like, I'm like, "Girl, that's some panties."
Well, and it's a fine line for me because I'm seeing a lot of rhetoric right now around fashion trends reflecting the culture as a whole and
Uh-huh.
how a lot of the culture is moving towards these like prairie dresses and this very conservative sort of look.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm not with that. Like I think,
Right.
I love my little short shorts. I love my tight
Mhm,
dresses. I love my,
mhm.
whatever. I'm trying to be a little more cautious of it now that I'm getting a little bit older,
Yeah,
especially now that I'm about to have a job where I'm going to have to dress a little more business casual and that kind of
yeah.
thing. So, appropriateness, but like there's times and places for things.
Right, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
honestly, I guess if you're going to wear them Broadway, sure.
Right, I mean, and, like, no issue with
Yeah.
again, I was just like I remember seeing the article, and then saw her, and I'm like, "Oh, that's what they're talking about." I'm like, "Yeah, I couldn't wear that,
Mm-mm.
especially at my age."
Yeah.
I'm bound to run into somebody I know, and
Yes. Yes.
it'll be somebody I didn't work with because 'cause they're gonna refer to me by my last name. "I saw Crew
Hmm.
over there, and
With
her
her whole
ass was
ass out.
ass," and they probably took a sneak picture, like, "That's
Uh huh.
Crew, whatever."
Uh huh.
But, it's just like those are just interesting trends. But I thought about that today because I saw a video and the girls were wearing these long shorts. It's very like, it was a cute look that they were
Hmm.
doing. And I was like, oh, are long shorts coming back in? Because,
Yes, and I hate it. The
I
Bermuda
need
short.
that right now. But I need that right now because the way my legs look right now, I'm like, I need that trend
Yeah,
currently. And then I'll be back to short shorts next summer.
it really is. It's very popular right now, and I'm, like, trying to get with it, but, like, I can't even when they were popular the first time when I was in, like, middle school, like, the
Mm-hmm.
plaid, whatever, Bermuda shorts
Mm-hmm.
were, like, a big thing. I just don't like them. I wanna like them. I'm trying to get with it, and if I
I
see enough people with them, I'll get on board eventually, but I'm not there yet.
always had a Bermuda. It wasn't always my go-to short. Like I like in this like I have a pair that I got a couple years ago, maybe or maybe a year and a half ago. I don't know. But they're kind of like they're cut in the front and it's kind of
Mhm.
cool looking. But I like it's like they're almost like the boy length
Yes, the boy
denim
yeah.
shorts. And I'm
Yes,
like,
yeah.
okay, I'm kind of feeling it. Like maybe I can make that work for this summer until I
You
get
can
back
make
where
it
I
work.
want to be.
I'm
And then
sure
we can
that
be
you
back to
will
the short.
accessorize
Yeah.
appropriately, and it'll be very cute. Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, I mean, the since I stopped skating, like, and I have not been active, I'm like, I can't even take it. I really can't even take it. Like the difference, the way my body looks different, I cannot take it. I'm like, we got to get back on it. It
Look,
just,
you're on your skating game right now, so we'll get there.
I'm like, it's still gonna take time.
Speaking of a skinny bitch that is
Come on,
also a trendsetter, do you
segue.
wanna talk about our celebrity birth
Yes,
chart?
I love it. Come on, a skinny. I was like, come on with the segue.
I'm like,
Yes.
I'm trying to make it work.
I loved it. I loved it. It's like I knew exactly where you're going. I was like, come on, okay, with the segue.
Trendsetting, skinny, Gemini.
Come on, our celebrity birth chart. So I had a different person in originally, and then I realized yesterday was this person's birthday, and so I was like, I mean, of course, still when this airs, it'll be a few days past, but
Yes.
that's fine. We gonna honor them because it was just their birthday. So we are going to be talking about the one and only late Prince Rogers Nelson,
Yes.
so known
A
as
Gemini,
Prince.
like, I feel like this is, like, peak healed Gemini.
Yes. Look at this
Creative.
chart image though. I just want you look at that wheel.
It is
Like
just complete.
it is active.
Yeah. There's a
Like
lot happening here.
a lot happening. And I think just sometimes just like the flash or shot of just the wheel
Mhm.
like says so much and like before you even look at what's what,
Right.
it's just like there's a lot of activity between the planets here
There really is. There
in
really
his
is.
chart. And I'm like, that just speaks to a complexity of a person. It's like,
Yes.
ooh, it's a lot. It's a lot
Many
happening there.
layers, many
Mhm,
layers.
mhm. So I love that. Okay, so Prince, of course, is a Gemini sun, a Pisces moon. Come
Look
on,
at you, creatives.
we've got a Gemini Mercury,
Mhm.
a Venus in Taurus,
Such a perfect at-home placement.
okay, and a Mars in Aries.
You know that was yeah, that makes so much sense. It's
So
so
much sense.
sexy.
So
It's so
sexy.
sexy. Good in bed.
But also, not to be left out, because we have a more complete chart for Prince. So
We do.
we have an ascendant in Scorpio,
Of course. Of
double sexual
course. Y
energy
of
here.
course.
We've got, now I'm just going to skip around, I guess, midheaven in Leo,
Mhm.
North Node in Libra.
Mhm.
He was of the Pluto and Leo generation.
Mhm.
Let's skip some of the mids because I just don't feel like it's
Yeah.
super important
That's
to
fine.
name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so interesting. So we've got Gemini, Pisces, Taurus, Aries, Scorpio in the personals.
Very
That's a
interesting.
lot of kind of sexual energy between those signs and then the Gemini to communicate it.
Would you expect anything less?
You know? I'm
Like,
like, ooh.
just to and I don't know, when I think of Prince, I just think of, like, one of the first people that was just sexy to everybody,
To
no matter what.
everybody.
Just oozing sex, like
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. And as you said, the Gemini energy to communicate it, like,
To
oof,
just
I just
communicate
love
so
this chart, it
well.
makes so much sense
It's
to me.
oh, it's so juicy. I'm like, I remember thinking, this is crazy. I remember thinking, I don't know how old I was. I wasn't a child, but I remember I was like, I would absolutely fuck Prince. I'm like, if
Oh, of
there was
course.
ever the
Of
opportunity, it's just one
course.
of those like if people feel like that about Lenny Kravitz. Like
Yeah,
if it was ever an opportunity, I would fuck that man.
literally.
Like,
Please, like, I feel like that is, like, the ultimate hall pass.
okay, I'm like, do me, baby. Okay, yeah,
You just reminded me of Lenny Kravitz, and I kind of forgot about Lenny Kravitz, but Lenny Kravitz was
yes,
one of my very first celebrity crushes, like,
absolutely.
so
That
sexy.
man just
Still would. Still would.
absolutely, yeah,
Love to see
yeah.
it.
Let him do all kind of things.
Happy
Absolutely.
Gem and would. Happy Gemini season.
Yes. Happy Gemini season. I know y'all up to all kind of things. So happy birthday to the Geminis.
That's right.
Happy birthday to the late Prince. You know, we could get into all the things, but we won't. But I'm telling you, if you ever feel like pulling up a chart, definitely pull up Prince's chart.
It's
There's
fun
so
to look
much,
at.
yeah, it's fun to look at. And there's so much I think you learn even in like post, what am I saying? Postmortem.
Posthumous,
Yeah, posthumous.
posthumous,
Yes,
posthumous,
posthumous.
however you say it. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes. Like there's a lot that you learn, after people have left this earth, at least
Mhm.
when you can look back at their chart and see kind of the fullness.
Mhm.
So, it's good to look at people's charts that have left us, but
Yeah.
you see so much now. And of course, the more you learn, once people pass, people tell all their business.
Right. This is
So
also a very accurate birth time according
it
to the
is.
website, so
Yes.
we can say this with pretty good
With
accuracy.
confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, very interesting to look at. If you get into the charts, it's a great way to learn. You don't have to know everything, just start taking stuff in,
Mhm.
like, "Oh, that's interesting. Oh, look at all that going on. What does that mean?"
Learn your
Start
astrology.
exploring.
It's a good way
Yeah.
to do it.
Okay.
What else we have today in our relatable content?
So, we're gonna talk a little about good friend ChatGPT. I want you to
Mhm.
share your part first, and then I
Yeah.
was gonna
Yes.
share
Okay.
my
So
part.
I saw you write a little thing in here and I was like, that is so
Yeah.
interesting because I just caught this. I started listening to I haven't delved in deeply yet, but there's this part of this podcast called Back from the Borderline. Are you
Mm.
familiar?
Mm-mm.
I haven't listened to a ton of it. It's just one lady. I think her name is Molly. Molly. She also has a really funny Instagram account that shares a lot of very interesting and fun spiritual therapeutic kind
Ooh.
of memes that are
Ooh.
also very
Okay.
funny. So another friend of mine had shared an episode of hers with me about the concept of limerence. Are you familiar?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
So I don't need to get into that today, but another time we should talk about limerence because it's just an
Yes.
interesting concept. And so I was just kind of like looking at what other kind of episode topics she had, and she had one called it was about ChatGPT specifically. It's called ChatGPT told him he was a god. What no one's saying about AI and spiritual delusion.
Ooh,
It's really interesting.
interesting.
So I started
You have to
listening to
send me
it.
that episode too.
I will. And I think a lot of the episode itself stemmed from a Rolling Stone article that was published this year, just a few months ago in May,
Mhm.
about people losing loved ones to AI fueled spiritual fantasies. And so it was basically just like if you already have this tendency to kind of be a little bit delusional or have some kind of mental health issues going on, ChatGPT, you're just like talking to it. And essentially, I said this to you the other day, if you
Yeah.
talk to it enough and it starts to recognize you, it starts to kind of talk back to you in your own voice, not like
Mhm.
just kind of like your
It
tone and
reflects
the
you back.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Uh-huh.
reflects back what you're giving it. And so if you already are someone who kind of has a tendency to have these delusions of grandeur or,
Mhm.
anything like that, it'll kind of feed into that. So the
Yeah.
episode just kind of dives into this question. It said, what's really happening here? Is this a story about artificial intelligence run amok or something more human, more ancient, and far less easy to classify? So I don't know. It's just a really interesting discussion, and like it makes sense to me. Like we're in this very weird territory. We have kind of created this monster, and it's talking
Mhm.
back to us, and it's
Mhm.
telling us exactly what we want to hear. But it's like, is it
Mhm.
us talking to ourselves? Is there some sort of non-human entity talking back to it? Like, I don't know. It's kind of I don't you could
It's
go in on it.
interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting because 'cause you're like, "Is someone receiving this in some way, or is
Mhm.
a human interacting with this information in any way, and what does" I mean, like, we've watched movies over decades about
Mhm.
artificial intelligence, and, like, there's always the fear of,
It's grown too
teaching
powerful.
yeah, like, that
Yeah.
it grows, that it starts to understand so much so that it's like, "Hey, actually, y'all are the problem."
Right.
So, we've
Yeah.
definitely got that fear I definitely feel that fear from a lot of people when you talk about AI, and I think,
Mhm.
again, anything in moderation, I think when we understand everyone's intention, which we can't,
Mhm.
but if we could control for that,
Right.
we could have a better product, but the problem is that you have, players in the game that are that don't have great
The
intentions and
people who have created these
yeah,
things also
right.
have the same biases, like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's
Uh-huh. So it's,
yeah.
you have to be very I think you have to be cautious, you have to be mindful about its use and like in taking everything with a grain of salt.
Mhm.
But yeah, yeah, I mean I could definitely see that and like so on to
It was just funny timing because you had written something in the outline about, like, "Is ChatGPT feeding my delusions?" And I was like,
right.
I'm gonna send you
Yes.
this episode to listen to, just no reason."
Yes, and the funny thing is I wrote that and I wrote it as a joke for real
Yeah.
because what I was gonna say about it was I felt like what I was talking to it or what, the back and forth was like a balanced approach. Like I was like,
Yes.
that's okay, that's very balanced and like
Yeah.
presented other side. I'm like, okay, okay. So okay, again to a little bit of this. So I have a note in my chat GPT that started very much talking about
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
ongoing for a little bit of time.
Okay.
And it's not something I work on like regularly, but it's something I come
Sure.
back to,
When it comes
put
up.
more stuff in there. Yeah, because I'm like,
Mhm.
you already know what I'm talking about. So let's
Mhm.
let's get into the things.
Yeah.
And so I had mentioned in the note, like, so the last place the note ends originally was like, we're taking a step back, like really allowing that person to just, figure out themselves.
Mhm.
And like, that's where it ended. So then, and I had already told Shelby earlier in the week that it very much has started to talk to me in my own language in another whole note but it was
Mhm.
just like, yes, and like it's giving. And like
Mhm.
it started to do more of that, even more of that. That just trips me out because I'm like, oh, okay, it feels like I'm
Yeah.
talking to my good girl, my
Yeah,
good
for real.
Judy. Okay, happy five, my
Right.
good Judy. And I'm like, okay, but the good Judy also was giving some very balanced, like advice. Like, I'm like, "Is this my dating coach at this?" And I'm
Basically.
like, and I think, I'm like thinking about all the things that are fed to AI.
Mhm.
I'm like, whose dating coach have they fed to this AI that is giving me this like very actually really good advice about
Mhm.
these situations? So I talked to it about this new person. And so I also gave like the astrology that I know, and we were, working out like what we think like the other placements are, and like
Mhm.
what is, and I was like, one of the things is, I'll just say this, but dealing with a cancer man, right? Like, I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't have a lot of experience here as far as dating.
Yes.
Like, what
Yeah.
are the things I should know about this type of, personality, this type of energy? So we are working through that. So I was like, started telling like, well, this happened the other day, and like things I've told you, right? And
Mhm. Mhm.
and the thing is, like, actually, like, well, working this thing out, like, yes, like, okay, I'm trying not to sound crazy when I'm talking. Like, you're skipping
No, it's
around a lot
okay.
of
Just
parts.
tell.
You're editing in your head. So, so
Uh-huh.
so I'm sharing scenarios and things with it. And it's very like, okay, yeah, this is good. These are good signs. This is stuff
Mhm.
that they do when they're
Mhm.
interested, blah blah blah. And so at one point I was like, okay, now don't be feeding my delusions. I got a Pisces sun, I got these
Right.
Aries
It
placements
doesn't
that make
take
me
much
excited.
for me to
Like,
run away with it.
yeah. Right. And so I said all of that to the thing. And it said, totally understand. Here's the evidence of what you have said has happened. This is what we're lining this up with. Like, it did all of
Mhm.
this for me. I was like, okay,
Okay.
you
All
better go.
right.
It's like,
Okay.
no, I understand you wanting to feel like you're not just creating this.
Right.
This is what you've said. This is how it lines up. And I'm like, okay, like I like it, just felt very balanced to me. And I was like, okay, like it presented other things. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, yep, you have the nature to want to approach quickly. So
Mhm.
here are ways that you can slow yourself down.
That's actually really helpful.
Dating.
Look, there I mean, the way it pulls from everything on the internet and just
Yeah.
amalgamates it for you, so, like, I'm sure that there is, like it's like I don't know, I have complicated relationships with ChatGPT because it's like, sometimes that is like you're like, "Oh," it's like reflecting back to you, but in a way that you need to hear it, and even you have
Mm-hmm.
enough self-awareness to be like, "Okay, don't feed my delusions. What do you
Right.
actually," and it does give you very practical advice, but also you could do that for yourself. Like, you could be like, "Now,
Absolutely.
Christine, what evidence do you
Right.
have?" "Well, I have this and
Right.
this and this." But
Yes.
I think one of the thing I listened to a different podcast the other day that was talking about AI in general, and it was so interesting because I was like, it is such a good tool in so many aspects. Because that is like, yeah, look at that. It's
Yeah.
so nice.
Right.
But I'm also like, I'm scared of it because I'm like, I feel like it's taking away some of our like ability for to have our own critical thoughts, to have our own
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
but it's nice to hear that it can give you a balanced approach, but you have to then
Yes.
have the awareness to go, "Okay,
Absolutely.
now let me
Right.
check you
Let's
on
run
this real
that
quick."
again.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Like, let's
Yeah.
not get out of control. Like, don't be just saying anything.
Right. And
So,
again, that's you
right.
telling it like,
Right.
"Stop that. Wait.
Yeah. And I
Let me
think,
make sure."
again, when you have enough level of critical thoughts,
Mhm.
okay,
Right. To
to
use it
question
appropriately.
things, right?
Yes.
Like, if you're not just letting it tell you anything, and again, like you're trusting anything. Now I got to go run this back, because even with some of the astrology conversation, I went and put that same information into astro.com, and I was like, well, I'm
Mhm.
getting a little something different. So then I'm like, okay, where is it pulling the information that it's making
Right.
this
Where's this coming
guesstimate of that?
from?
Right? Where is that coming from that it thinks this? But then when I put this over here, it thinks that. And all of this, is up in the air, because
Right. Right. We'll
we
get
have
it
talked
before too
about,
long.
I mean, he has said he is open to me doing his chart. It
Mhm.
just was a more of a passing conversation, which, again, there would be a reason for that, need to be a reason for that to come back up. And then
We'll
my
make
Aries
one.
tendencies will definitely just say something, but I'm trying to, again, sit back and
Just
like
pump the
be in
brakes,
my
pump those
Venus
brakes.
era and
Uh-huh.
not be in my Aries era, my Mars
Mhm.
era.
That's right.
Stop trying to let the person come to you. Like,
Let them come to you.
but why do I always pick these people that like I always pick the slow burners. Like, and I'm
Mhm.
not a slow burner.
You're not.
I'm a quick flame, okay?
I think the universe is trying to teach you something. They're trying to teach you
Really?
something, and maybe you have not fully
Grasp this.
encompassed the lesson yet.
Look, I'm working on it. I am currently in work on that
You are.
particular lesson, and I feel like I'm doing all right.
You're doing
But,
great. We'll see.
when things happen, that area, you just get excited. You be like, "Ooh, something new. I'm
Well, and
ready. Like, let's do it.
it's
Let's go now."
complicated because 'cause I'm very pro direct communication. Like,
Yes.
don't let me waste my time if
Right.
there's nothing here to,
Yes.
whatever. But I think some people need a little more, like, I don't know what the word is. I don't know, they
A
need the
push,
slow burn.
encouragement. They need,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, some people
Comfort,
need that
safety.
time for safety, and that's
Mhm.
one of the things that it was saying about cancer was just, like, that safety. It takes a little more time.
Mhm.
They're not, especially like in the male form, like you're like, they're not as dominant as some
Mhm.
other signs. So they're a
Right.
little more shy. They're not going to just jump on it
Mhm.
like I would. I'm like,
Don't
hey,
scare them away.
and don't
Yeah.
scare them away. And so it's like, okay, let me just chill.
Let me
Let's
match the pace.
relax. Like, it's okay. We're not in a hurry. Like, everything's fine.
Yeah. Unless you know that there is like a Aries Venus or something like that to go with a
Mm-hmm.
placement like that, I feel like you do just have to kind of wait out the slow burn a little bit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I'm
And I
like,
know
oh.
that's hard. I know it's hard.
It's so hard because you know how bad I just want to text about just about anything. Because I'll just text people. I'm like, fuck it, I'm texting them. Like,
Mhm.
and that is just me because I'm like, I'm tired of waiting. I want this to happen
I don't want to
now.
play these games. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what am I waiting for? Then I'm like, well, I have an in, right? Like, we have a preset conversation about activity together, but I'm
Mhm.
not ready for that. And I'm like, can't there be something else before that?
You'll find something.
I
Something to
mean,
ease in
I
with.
can find something, but I'm like, okay, it doesn't make sense to go to something else. You've already talked about one thing. Just get yourself where you need to be so you can do
Mhm.
the one thing, and then that can lead to other things. I'm like, it's not happening fast enough.
We'll get there. I trust. Just trust.
That's the Aries. So there's my, chaos of my astrology and liking people. And that came from us talking about ChatGPT feeding delusions. Okay, I
Look,
was like, where did we come
we're
from?
coming back around. We're
We're
coming back
coming back
around.
around to it. Now, the other side of that, I think I told Shelby earlier this week too, is like I just updated it, said, "Hey, have it write a profile for you." And it did a really great profile for me that I was just like, I don't know, that was like I needed that. Like to
Mhm.
see like, oh, this is like the culmination of like the things that you've worked on over
Mhm.
these years and thinking about like where that's going.
Mhm.
Um
All your work's just laid out for you. Yeah.
And the very interesting thing about that is I don't think it even no, it did. It mentioned me being a therapist. And I
Mm,
was like, wait,
mhm.
because that was the part that I was like, yeah, it said I was licensed, and I'm
Yes.
not,
You're
but
like, "No, but thank
not
you."
that part. But thank you for giving me my license.
Yes.
But outside, I
Credentialed
think,
maybe, not yeah, I don't know,
yeah,
you
right.
yeah.
Like very experienced, but just not licensed. That's just, personal decision. But well, I was gonna say most of that was outside of my actual professional experience, but I think since you mentioned that, it groups in. But a
Mhm.
lot of it is work that I've done outside of my like 9 to 5 jobs
Right.
and the things that I'm even future developing because I've like worked on like curriculums in
Mhm.
ChatGPT, like I mean fully fleshed out programs, business plans, like all
Mhm.
kind of stuff that I have plans for like going forward in the future, like
Mhm.
even I mean even out to maybe 10 years,
Yeah.
like things I have plans for going forward. But like it's just I mean it's really been helpful in those
Yeah.
ways and can really just help you organize. I think that's the biggest piece for me is like organizing all the
Yes. Because
ideas,
our brains are not always equipped
the structure,
for that.
the
I've got
structure.
the ideas, but the
Yeah,
structure is not always there. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
I'm like an idea factory. I got all kind of stuff. I'm like, I feel like this
Yes.
could be a business. I was telling Shelby, I'm like, I feel like this could be a business. And I go
And
working on
could.
ChatGPT and I'm like, oh,
And
this could
could.
be a really great business. Let me
Mhm.
figure this out how we get this started because I think
Right?
this is bad. But yeah,
Could
I
make it
mean,
happen.
it's interesting. So okay, that led to other conversations. So I don't know if I've said this to you, but anytime I hear a message more than like a couple of times from different sources, I'm like, okay, this is spirit talking, God,
Mhm.
universe,
It's
whatever.
in the ether.
Uh-huh. And so there's been a lot of conversation lately about doctoral programs and like the
Mm.
possibility of me entering a doctoral program.
You know what? I've had this same thought a few times recently.
Uh-huh.
I've
Uh-huh.
I've had it. Go on.
So I was talking with my mom the other day, and we've had multiple conversations recently about it. And just, I mean, I've made comments sometimes about I don't know how certain people have doctors
Mhm.
and things like that.
Apparently,
To
it's not
which
that hard.
to which she always responds to me, having a doctorate is not about how smart you are. It's not about how talented you are. None of those things matter. It's about
Right.
who can get the work done and complete it.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
all.
That really is all it
That's
just going
all
to
it
school
is.
in general. Are you willing to
Yeah.
grind for a little while?
Can you focus enough and be disciplined to complete this program? And
Yeah.
that's really all it is. So, and so, when I have those thoughts about certain people that I'm like, how do they have?
They were able to buckle
They
down and
went
get the
and
work
did the
done.
work. Yep.
That's right.
And
That's really all it
so,
is.
she was speaking to the fact that there are a lot of people like me that have a lot of experience in the field, like I'd say boots on the ground, but like people that are
Mhm.
very, direct work,
Mhm.
direct service work that really have research in them. Like I'm
Mhm.
like, I got like 3 or 4 research areas just from my own personal
Yeah.
research that I've done
Yeah.
over the years that I could go pursue a doctorate about. I was like, it's
Truly.
not that it's not there to do, but
Truly.
it's like once you worked directly for a certain amount of time, you have certain level of experience. Those are the people that need to be going to get doctorates,
Exactly.
because people with the doctorates are the people call for businesses and
Mhm.
organizations, school
That it's
systems.
truly in our field, that's where the money is
Yeah.
too. I
Yeah.
literally was
Consulting.
just looking up the agency, organization that I'm about to go work for is
Hmm.
public, and so obviously everybody's salary is online. And I
Hmm.
looked up, the top 5 earners or whatever, one of whom is my new boss, and I'm like, "Oh, it's y'all all have doctorates and y'all are making about double what I'm going to be making." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Okay, maybe I need to do it." Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's who people
Yeah.
call. You're right.
And it's, I mean, it really, I mean, it can command a high salary independent, depending on the field. But also just like even outside of your main job,
Mhm.
like how much side work you can get consulting just
Yeah,
because you have established yourself as an expert in this area. And
exactly.
so I'm like, okay, I was letting that roll around with me and like, I've never wanted to do a doctoral program, like
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah.
When
It's a
all
lot of
my
work.
friends, yeah, like, I mean, when I was in grad school, a lot of my friends went on to a doctoral program after our master's program, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Have a great time."
Yeah.
I barely wanted to finish this, and I almost didn't finish it at one point.
Honestly, the last time when I was in school for my master's, I was like, I will never go to school again.
Yep,
I was like so
yep,
ready to be done.
I'm over this, and I have even more recently said I wouldn't do it again unless I was gonna get to study astrology.
Unless someone is going to pay for it for me.
Yes,
That
and
too is part of
that
it.
is the other side of this coin. I'm like, I'm not paying for a doctoral program.
Yeah, not right now.
Would you
Especially the way
like to
that
fund
student
it?
loans are right now. No way.
Okay,
No way.
hello. We
Yeah.
never finished paying for the other one, so
Right. That too.
And I'm like, good luck to them. Good luck to y'all getting it. But now they will get it. But anyways, yeah, I'm like, I don't know. It's interesting. I think now I have to really think about this and consider it because I think there is work. I think even with the things that I've planned out to do going forward, I think it would really inform that work even better.
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, damn, how did we get here?
And there is a level of trustworthiness from people who are like, if they don't know you already, having the word doctor in front of your name really does
Hmm.
make a big difference.
It
So
does.
stay
Yep.
tuned, y'all. This might be the doctor podcast here soon, one of these days. Okay.
Yes. So here we are. Yep.
Here we are. Okay, I know we have a lot of other relatable content to get to, and it's already an hour in, so I'm gonna try.
It's
But
fine.
I
Our meats are fairly lean. I will say
That's true.
that. Like they're not
We can make it.
real involved.
We'll be fine. But I saw this video on TikTok the other day and I didn't know if it had also come across your page, but it cracked me up because I think it was recently. I don't know if it was on air or not, but you asked me how familiar I was with Key Sweat.
Yes. Uh-huh. I don't remember if it was on air, but
Okay. Well, you were asking me about that because most of the time there is a reference made, I'm with it. I understand most of the cultural references. I've never really listened to Key Sweat, so I was like, this one is a little I am familiar. I know the concepts, but I'm not well versed. So anyway, I saw this
Mhm.
video. I sent it to you on TikTok, and I don't know if you had a
Okay.
second to watch it.
No.
But it cracked me the fuck up. So when you get a chance, watch it. It's this kid, and his name's Tyler. I don't know how they knew his name was Tyler. He's on a Carnival cruise,
Yes.
and this little white boy is wearing just like gym shorts. He's wearing socks and slides. Okay, and
Absolutely.
there's like karaoke going on the cruise, and the room is full of Black people. It is like
Yeah, it's a carnival
aunties and
cruise.
uncles and such, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Tyler gets up there, and I can tell, everybody in the audience is like, "Oh, what is this kid gonna sing?" And he gets he gets up and starts singing "Nobody" by Keith Sweat. He is the lady.
Wow.
There's a lady in the front row. She gets up, she stands up, and walks away. And everybody in the comments is like, "That's how you know you've really impressed a Black person." It's like you get up, you have to get up and walk away.
I gotta walk
He's
off on that.
He's really killing it. I want you to watch it because I just thought you would laugh,
Wow.
but it just reminded me of, like, I'm rocking with Mark because Mark rocking with us.
Okay. 'Cause
It
he's
was
rocking
so
with
funny to
us.
me,
'Cause
and I was
that's
just
it.
like, "That's so funny because I didn't even know really a lot of Q Sweat, but now we had the conversation, and of course, the algorithm knows that we had that conversation,
Okay?
so now it's
It's
like
like and it's sending you that specific song too, because that shit was hilarious, so now you understand why that was wildly like,
mhm.
where are we going with this? How does this relate to how your school year just went? And
Because that text for which you had asked me if I was
right,
familiar
right,
was like,
because
"Oh, someone played that
someone
in a"
played that song in reference to a song that described how your school year went. And as soon as I mean, like if you know the song, you're familiar, like the intro of the song, like immediately what's coming on. And I'm like,
Yeah.
immediately my eyes are like, now what?
No,
And the song
uh,
comes in, I want to tease you, I want to please you. And I'm like, what this got to do with school?
nothing, nothing. You just like this song and that's fine, but you didn't have to bring it over here, okay?
What elementary schools at that? So I'm like, now what this got to do? What?
Yeah. What's happening here? There's context clues
In
are
the
missing.
hell?
Lost on me.
What
What
the
the
hell
hell?
you
Our brains are rotted.
Hey, I saw
Uh,
Beyonce just did she had that in her show recently. What the hell I was like, "Come on,
oh my
Beyonce,"
god.
because it
Look at
says, "What the
you.
hell Beyonce?"
Beyonce, yeah.
Somebody said Blue Ivy was behind this.
Probably. She's like, "Mom, I saw this on TikTok. You got to do this."
You gotta put this in the show.
Keeping the youth keeping her cool. Not that she needs any
Okay.
fucking help, okay?
No,
But,
no. She Beyonce about ready. Like she ready to hand it off. I see
I
her.
think so.
People have been commenting that she is not dancing as hard
A
in this
graceful exit,
tour.
cause she doesn't have
Uh-huh.
to.
Cause she ain't
Cause she
got
does not
to.
have to.
She
Good for
got
her.
Blue out there, Blue dancing, they got it. Like, I don't
Right.
need me to do all
Pass
that.
the
I'm getting
torch.
old. She said, I'm 43.
Appropriate.
Okay.
Appropriately so.
I ain't
Let
got time
her
to be fooling
enjoy
with
her life
y'all.
for once,
Got
okay?
these kids. I gotta keep up with them. I ain't got time to be
Right.
fooling with y'all. Okay.
Anyway, the only other thing I had just to kind of revisit, so now Venus
Yes.
has now moved into Taurus and I am very much feeling it.
Mhm.
I told you I had 2 days this weekend. So Friday I spent like really arranging the house and like cleaning up and like making the space,
Yes.
feel very at home. Really just the fact that I have been in the house feels
In the
very Venus and
house.
Taurus in the couch, if you know what I
In
mean. But then, yeah, yesterday I had like a really good little self care day where I was like, I went to the gym, went to the
yes.
pool, I made myself a meal. I was at home doing a face mask and a hair mask, and
Yes.
just really
Come
it
on.
felt very Venus and Taurus. So I
Mm.
was wondering if you too had felt any of the effects of the Venus and Taurus, and it sounds like you kind of have because you're on your business side right
And
now.
that's what I was gonna say. It is very much money related in different ways, like making sure we're covered,
Mm-hmm.
for the break, but also as planning for future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think all I need is a Virgo manager.
There you go.
I just need a Virgo manager, Virgo assistant, like someone who can get the details of this done.
Yes.
I'm great for a vision,
Yes. I've got
and
the
I
vision, now help me make it a reality.
ChatGPT organize it. All I need you to do is do the steps, do the
Yes.
action steps. Yeah,
Somebody
let's
get in
make
here
this
with these
money
action
together,
steps. I
okay?
need a Virgo with an Aries placement.
Hello,
Okay.
act
Start it
quickly,
and finish it.
okay? Yes, yes, yes. The energy, the passion to start, and the
Mhm.
endurance to finish it.
That's right.
Come
Oof.
on,
Not endurance, okay?
okay? Woo! The stamina.
Yes. So just know that the Venus and Taurus is here for a while.
Here.
The Venus
Yes.
placements usually are at least a few weeks, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
think Venus is, I mean, it moves like 3 weeks or so in a
mhm.
something like that in a
Yeah.
sign. So yeah, I mean, I have my North Node in Venus or my
Mhm.
North Node in Taurus, and
Mhm.
my Ascendant in Taurus. So
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
have some things happening. It's been very active because all the other stuff, a lot of other stuff's in Aries. So we just moved
Right.
Venus through Aries, and
Right.
so there's been a lot of activity. Chiron has been active. So
Mhm.
there's all kind of things.
A lot of things happening.
Truly, all kind of things. Yay for Venus and Taurus. It should fit. I mean, for most, it should be a
It's
feel
at
good time.
home. It's at
Yeah,
home. Yeah.
times are feeling good. Hopefully, things are abundant for you and not the other
That's
way
right.
around.
That's right.
So,
Last little bit of relatable content here.
and this
Tell us
might
what we
be a
got.
little more than a little,
Well, we'll do our
but
best.
we'll do our best. I'm thinking, how do you feel? Would you like to take a break before we get into
Oh,
this?
yes. Let's take a quick break
Okay.
and then we
Yes.
can come back.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be right back. Hey, hey. Welcome back.
Be back.
All right. So, to finish out our relatable content this week, first of all, on the break, I made Christine watch Tyler on the cruise. It
Hilarious.
lived up to expectations. If you haven't already
Absolutely.
seen it, look it up on TikTok.
I will be sharing it to all of my social media.
I'll share it on the pod account, actually, now that I
Yes,
said
share
that.
Tyler on the podcast account because this is hilarious. Tyler better get on before he done found himself a old black lady. We'll be trying to
Look,
holler at him.
and they are, I'm sure, in love. Speaking of love, I think Christine has some reality dating show content for us.
Yes. So, in honor of Love Island coming back, it's like let's talk about some, reality dating shows. So, I know Shelby has encountered some conversation on TikTok that has
Yes.
her a little intrigued about Love Island, which I love. I'm like,
Yes.
get into it, sis. Get into it.
It's mostly about Ulissa, who I heard is already gone. So
Yes.
we'll talk about that a different time
I
when
see,
I actually
yeah.
watch it.
I saw some of the commentary from the video that you sent me, and I was like, "Oh, this is," because I it was like a mystery. Like everyone
Hmm.
watching the show, it's just like literally, I did what everyone else did. I was like, "Okay, so I wasn't crazy," because I was watching it, and then maybe I paused it or something to go get my food, and I come back, and it was like Ulysses, left the villa, and I was like, "Wait,
Yeah,
did I miss
I heard
it?"
it was very abrupt.
It was like one scene, she was there, the next scene, they're waking up the next morning, and it was like, Ulysses left the village. And that was all that was said. Nobody mentioned it on the show. Like, it was just like, she was just gone.
It is really crazy. And you had said this last week when we had talked about it a little bit, but like it's happening so quickly. So like I wonder if the producers just like check to see what people are saying on social media and then are like make decisions about things
Oh,
based on that.
absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things happening, not in real time, but in real time. I mean, this is
Real-ish
real.
time.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this show is being recorded as we speak. Like,
Hmm.
we may be a day, maybe 2 days behind what's actually happening, not very far behind what you're seeing on your screen every day.
Yeah.
And so,
Which is kind of interesting.
like the editing team, I mean, like think about all the editing,
Oof.
all the different cameras they have there, and
Yeah.
like I know that is a
What a
job.
team.
Yeah,
Like, props
like
to them for making
mhm.
this happen. I also saw a couple weeks ago that or maybe it was like last week, that an episode was late,
Oh
which,
yeah,
like,
the first
you
episode.
kind of have to expect that to happen because, it's
It's
happening
live. I mean,
live.
fairly live. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and they're having to do last minute stuff or whatever. Now I don't know. People had a lot of critique for Peacock for that because they're like, now y'all have hosted the whole Olympics
Right.
and y'all couldn't get Love Island, and then they said they tried to, I guess, blame the fan base, saying like, "Oh,
What?
y'all broke the app or whatever," and they're like, "Now how y'all gonna blame us?"
Come on now. Like, yeah, I'm sorry for, we're patronizing your platform and you're
Right.
complaining about it.
Love
Like, no,
Island is what
I'm
crashed
not
the
with that.
app? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Love
I
Island.
don't think so.
You did the Olympics. The Olympics, the
You can
world.
handle it.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, the fandom is strong for the show, which I mean, I've now seen a few seasons of it. I just started watching it last year.
Mhm.
And then I went and watched, previous seasons, and I tried to watch some UK stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think as far as reality dating shows, it's probably one of my favorite.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like it's the right level of lightness to it, which I think is why I
Mhm.
think you would like it.
Yes, it's not too
It's not too
deep.
serious. Not too many people are taking it too seriously.
Yes.
Like, there are relationships that have formed, and but these are also very young people. And
Right.
so I'm
You don't
like,
expect them to last.
yeah,
You don't have to marry somebody.
right. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Even if you meet someone and y'all have a good time for a couple years or whatever, and then you move on, it's all right.
It's cool because 'cause you're in your 20s or
You're
whatever.
20
Yeah.
something. Yeah, like, live
It's
your
not a big
life.
deal.
You met this person on the show wearing your bikini. Like, it's like,
Literally,
seriously.
literally.
What did we
It's not
think
that
this was
deep.
about? Shaking your ass and doing all kind of stuff. Like, what did we think this relationship was made of?
Right.
So I enjoy the show for that purpose. There's a lot of there's a lot, there's ass shaking. There's, just,
Mhm.
it's fun. It's a fun time. They're very attractive young people, and like, it's a good time. And so that's one of my favorites. It is
Mhm.
back on. There are lots of things happening. We don't have time to really get into the things happening, but if you're a, Love Island watcher, let me know. Like, we can start a little sub something and talk
Convince me
about it.
to watch it because I told Christine I might have to just because I've been hearing a lot of commentary.
I
I'm
think
honestly just scared to get into it because then I know there's so much
there
backlog to
is.
watch.
Well, no, I mean, here's the thing. If you start in this season, currently you only have 4 episodes. 4 or 3?
That's
Maybe
true.
3 episodes to watch. There's a thing called After Sun, which comes on Saturday night. You don't necessarily have to watch After Sun. It's like a little
Sure.
recap.
Yeah.
They have a little panel. I mean, it's fun, like, if you're just into it.
Yeah.
Like, I watch it, but, like, if you're just wanting to watch the core episodes, I think there are 4 a week, something like that. It's
That's
not
not bad.
every night, but
Mhm.
there's a couple, there's, like, After Sun and something else. So, the season's new, it just came on Tuesday. So, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Is there an episode Friday? 3 or 4 episodes. That's all so,
Okay. I can handle
currently.
that.
Yeah.
I can
Now if you
handle
keep
that.
waiting, the episode come on
I know. Then
tonight,
it then they
you
just
know?
they accumulate so
It does,
quickly.
yes. If you start today, you can be in a good place. Now, if you want to watch an old season, I mean, it's a commitment to, like, sit and
Sure.
watch like 60 episodes of something. But I'll tell you, season 6, it's
I also
chef's
feel like
kiss.
it's just one of those shows that you could just put on and be doing other things and still
Absolutely.
every once in a while like look up and go,
Yeah.
you know
I
what I
mean, now
mean?
you'll want to see, because sometimes you miss some stuff, or
That's true.
conversations, little things get done or said. You're like, what? Oh,
Oh,
rewind that. What did I just do? I'm like, looking in the mirror.
mm,
It's very scandalous, and they put the people in situations. That's what's funny too. Is like the producers, they're always creating little games or little ways to
mhm.
switch things up and, like, mess with the couples. And,
Mhm.
like, so they have to make these different kind of decisions, or decide between multiple people that they have connections with, or switch up their coupling. And that's what makes it so fun and juicy.
And that's what makes it juicy.
Yeah.
Like they know what they're doing. This formula seems to be working. Cuz it's honestly it's one of the more popular like I'm looking at this list of other ones that you have on here. I'm like
Mhm.
this one is the one I hear the most about right. Well, obviously right now because it's
Yeah,
a whole
because it's
thing, but
on.
even
Yeah.
in the off seasons like people love Love Island.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think I was looking at it. I pulled up a couple little lists that were coming up when I was looking up some things. And one of the lists, I don't know if it's Cosmo's list or another list, but that Love Island was ranked the number one reality dating show.
Yeah.
I mean, rightfully
I can see
so.
it.
Like,
That
it
makes
it
sense.
has earned that space. I think it's got grown even more popular since last season, and the
Mhm.
popularity of that cast, like, has really, especially the US version, because before, like, people were like, "Oh yeah, watch UK."
Right.
Like, UK is really
Right.
good and has some really good
Yes.
seasons. The US was kind of like, it's cool." And then
Yeah.
season 6 came. I think season 4 was also one of the really good ones for US, but,
Mhm.
like, season 6 came and blew everything out the water. And now people are obsessed, as I am. I'm like, it's my time. I have
It's my
6
time.
weeks of, like, this is my life.
6 weeks of trash TV.
Yes, I love it. Like, it is trashy. Like, I'm telling you, it gets
That's about the amount of time that you are off work too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the perfect break. I'm like, ooh, I get to watch Love Island while I'm off.
Yes.
Amazing. And so it works out perfectly for me. So I'm here
Okay.
for it. I was gonna say something about it. It left me. It'll come back.
Okay.
So I highly recommend if you
Okay.
want to watch something, get into it. You're not too far behind. Now I wanted to talk about this is the lens to what I'm about to say. One
Mhm.
of my annoyances about what's happening currently, which it does happen sometimes on this show, is people get into couplings and then what they call closing off too
Mhm.
soon. Like they don't want
Mhm.
to date other people or get to know anyone else. So this has already happened with a couple on the show. Again, so
It's
far
the
we're
first week.
4 days,
Yeah.
4 days
Oof.
in.
That's so fast.
And like maybe day two, they were like closing off. Like people were feeling like, oh, we can't even approach her or girls can't approach him
Mm.
because they in a couple.
Mhm.
And I will say myself and that Ariana, the host of the show, said this on the After Sun last night. Like, I really hate that. And I'm like, for me, I want them to leave. I want them to go
Yeah.
home. I want to vote them off because, like, go somewhere else and
Because
do that. That's not fun to
that's
watch.
not this is not the show for that. This is a
Right.
show for having fun and dating around, and we wanna see them
Yes.
at like, don't come on this show. Go on Love Is Blind if you wanna couple off
That's
immediately.
and that's how I got here to this the rest of these shows. I was like, this is the show you need to go on if that's what you're looking for. Like it was already controversial. So one of the girls on the show is a mom. And there was this whole
Hmm.
controversy about when she was gonna tell this man that she was a mom and she's like, I just want to wait until I'm comfortable and da da
This isn't
da.
the show for you.
No, like first of
If you're a
all,
mom, don't go
don't
on
go on
Love
Love
Island.
Island. Like, girl, what
I
are
mean, you
you
can do what
doing?
you want, but,
Right.
like, it just doesn't seem like the right fit.
Exactly.
You're not gonna meet your kid's stepdaddy on Love
On Love
Island.
Island. Like, girl, what are you doing? Like, be for real with yourself. And so I'm a little annoyed by her. She crying over Maudie and he had to kiss this other girl and she don't like the other girl. Now the other girl's a bombshell. That's their whole purpose is to lure the person away from you,
Right,
from the other
that's yeah.
guests. Like that's why they're there. And
Don't
so
go on the show if you're not ready to have your emotions played with like this, okay?
and that's all the show is they fucking with your emotions. Like, y'all gotta get like the first week, I'm like, girl, you can go and he can go too because he wanna be committed to go be committed to each other somewhere else.
Right.
Like this isn't it's too early for that. I don't
No.
wanna see closing off until at least halfway through the show.
Bare minimum,
Minimum.
because a lot's gonna happen.
Including Casa More. And I'm like, please be for real with yourself. So anyway, that's Love Island. Get into it.
Okay, get into
Now,
it.
the reason again I said I went to the rest of this list is because I'm like, what are other more appropriate shows for this woman
For
to have
this
gone
particular
on?
couple, yes.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
I started thinking like, A Love Is Blind is great. Maybe a Married at First Sight if that's if you want
Yeah.
to jump into full long lifelong commitment. So
I watched a few episodes of I think I watched 1 season of Married at First Sight because it was COVID time.
it's
That
long.
was, like, the only time I really got into reality TV. It does it d Are they even still making it right now? I feel like I
Hmm.
haven't heard much about it.
I
Okay.
think they are. Hmm.
It was okay, but I'm
I
also
I
not
don't have the attention span. And I
yeah.
think that's the difficult thing because most of the episodes are an hour and a half long.
That's so long
It's
for a reality
so
show.
long. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
want
that was
30
another one.
minutes.
Yeah. It's another one that they have multiple episodes in a week. I don't think it's as frequent as Love Island, but
Mhm.
like there are multiple episodes, like even within a week. I'm like, you give me 90-minute episodes? Like I can't even
Yeah.
finish all that in one. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
I'm thinking about this stuff. Then you miss things. And then some
Mhm.
couples I'm not even interested in. So I'm like,
Yes.
I got to learn to use the fast forward button sometimes. Like just fast forward through them. We don't
Yeah.
care about them. But
That's a good
yeah,
point.
I've watched a few seasons of that on and off just because, yeah, it's as much as I can do at that time.
Yeah.
Now, these are not in the list of like what they should have gone on, but then I started getting into like what other shows are out here that are popular. What do
Mhm.
I like? What I don't, whatever.
Mhm.
So I know 90 Day Fiance is popular. I have not watched
Yes.
that.
Haven't either, but a lot of people do love that. I see a lot of memes from 90 Day
Uh
Fiancé.
huh. Uh
A lot
huh.
of those characters have really
Yes.
made their way into meme fandom.
Yes. Yes. So now some of them that I love similarly to Love is not Love is Blind, to Love Island,
Mhm.
we have Too Hot to Handle.
I wanna ask you about Too Hot to Handle. What is the
Yes.
difference? Like, what are the conceptual differences in the gameplay.
So Love Island is really trying to technically their thing is like you're finding a couple and then you have to test your connection, which is all the
Okay.
that's the testing the connection.
Uh-huh.
Or the strength connection, whatever. Now, Too Hot to Handle is putting all these very attractive, very horny people together and then telling them, actually, you can't do any of that. And
Oh,
the money
that's right.
comes
Okay.
from, yeah, like if
How long you can withhold.
yes,
Yeah.
even kissing, touching, doing heavy groping, like all of that. Like it has different dollar amounts attached to it. And
Mhm.
anytime they do those things, it deducts it from the group's pot of money.
That is so crazy. I feel like that would be just, like, the horniest you've ever been in
It's
your entire
torture.
life,
And I'm
like
like, that's why it's entertaining to watch.
yeah. Okay, I might be down for that. That sounds interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
Too Hot to
Sorry, I
Handle is fun.
carry on. I like most of these I understand the concept. That one
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not sure if I remember what that one's about.
Yes. Now, similar, not the same, but similar in that way, you have F Boy Island. I think that's on HBO Max. Again, like, can you reform these F boys and F girls? Like
Yeah.
they're all people that just be getting around.
Mhm.
Now I will say one of the things just generally, this comes out in Love Island, like they do games that like ask them to disclose their body counts.
Ooh.
I'm like, this must be my oldness or something, but I'm like, what? Some of these body counts are like,
Yeah.
you're like 22.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember one time being at somebody's bachelorette party and somebody was like brought that conversation up and I always was like, mine's not low. Like it's
Yeah,
not low, but I'm 33.
yeah,
And
right.
although I will say most of that did happen in my early 20s, the bulk of the bodies came from my early 20s. But I remember thinking, like, I'll probably win this game with the highest body count and immediately being like blown out of the water. And I was like,
Wow.
damn, I'm a
Wow.
slut non-practicing right now, like, and I've added a few more in recent
Right.
years, but
Yeah.
like I was like, oh, you guys are in the hundreds.
Right. Now I've
Okay.
not seen any girls at least admit on the show being in the hundreds, but some of these men were like
Men
hundreds or over
especially.
100. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just,
Huh? Are you okay?
yeah. I mean, I think maybe as women, it's just different. It's different. Like I don't feel like my body count is high.
Mhm.
Again, especially being 40 years old. But I told you, I've told my body count to a man who had the same number
Mhm. And felt differently
and
about
he
it.
felt differently about my body counts.
Yeah.
And
Like,
so
that's
it's
crazy.
very interesting. And also he's significantly younger than me. So I'm like, now how are you looking at me sideways? This
Now we have to have this
mathematically.
conversation out off the show because now I'm like, I don't know if I've ever asked you what yours is because it doesn't really fucking matter. But I'm
Right,
also
and it
like
doesn't. But
curious.
once you know numbers, I mean, that just kinda fucks with your head, like,
Mhm.
"I'm sorry, what?" Like
Yeah,
or
you're like,
like,
When did you have all the time to
yeah,
do this?"
like, you're just fucking anything that moves. Like, that's
Yes.
what it feels like. Because 'cause I'm like, "You
It also
just"
really lends itself to like you are emotionally unavailable.
very much so.
The higher your body count is, the less emotionally available you are, I think.
Yeah.
Now, I also am dating somebody with a higher body count than I, who is very emotionally available to me,
Yeah.
but has previously been
Not been.
unavailable to
Uh-huh,
other people.
uh-huh, uh-huh,
And I'm like, I'm clocking
uh-huh.
it.
Yeah, yeah, you're like
Yeah.
so I saw this
Okay.
happen on Love Island, this episode where, I mean that you think about things differently when you hear those
Mhm.
kind of things like, "What?" And like one of the people they asked like how many nudes like you've sent. And I'm like,
Oh.
I mean, I don't even know how to measure how many nudes, but I'm like, one of the guys said thousands. I'm like, thousands?
That's too many. And now I imagine
Does
a lot of those were
everybody
to
get
the
their
same person, but,
I
like, once you get into the
how many times I need to see
thousands.
your dick? I see it live. Times I
That's
need
true.
pictures of it.
I
It
still
still
get a
look the
lot of dick
same.
pics that I've, requested most of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Now, I like one or two occasionally. I like send me a video.
Just yeah, there we go. I'd
That's what
rather
I
have
really want. I
video.
want the video. But I'm like, thousands? How many people got pictures? And then eventually, like, you think about relationship wise, how many people have a picture of your dick? And now I'm dating you. And every girl
Yeah.
in town, like, oh girl, I know what that
Yeah,
look
I've
like.
seen it.
I seen it.
That's the other thing. You know what?
Ain't nothing special.
I just had this conversation with somebody the other day, and I can't remember if you and I were talking about this or if it was elsewhere, but like I was talking about how the person that I am currently with is talked to me about how like I don't know, I made a comment about something. I was like, "Oh, I bet a bunch of my nudes are like floating out there for people who have gotten them in the past." And he was like, "I always like if I'm not with somebody anymore, I immediately delete all their shit off my phone. Like I
Oh,
will not keep
no,
those if we're not together because that seems like the respectful thing to do." And I was like, "You know how uncommon that is?
very.
You know, like
Because I can
that
tell you,
is
I can show you some nudes and some
it
posts.
made me like respect him even more because I was like, damn, you're really out here doing the right thing because most people will not fucking do that."
No, they just go in my secure folder. I mean, they're already in the secure folder, but they nothing
Yeah.
is. If I have it, it's in there. Now, if I don't want to see it, I'll delete
Yeah.
it.
No,
Like,
it's out.
like I ain't fuck it. I don't want to see that. But like now, there are people. I won't say they're exes, but they're definitely past.
Escapades.
Escapades.
Yeah.
Definitely have those, and I'm not going to say that I don't still use those from time to time. Like,
Every once in a while.
still a good time to watch.
Well, and I feel like something to me, if it's like a casual thing
Yeah,
that we've
yeah,
had, that feels different than like we
yeah.
were in a relationship and then we
Yeah.
broke up. Because why are you still jerking off to pictures?
No, I don't wanna see I don't care about seeing my ex. Now there I do have some that I probably do need to go in there and delete, but I don't spend a lot of time in my secure folder for real, and so I
Yeah.
forget that that stuff's in there, and I'm like, "Oh, maybe I should delete that. I don't care about."
Yeah.
I just don't care about having that image anymore.
Yes,
But
exactly.
the others, yeah, they can stay. They can
They
stay.
can stay.
They can stay.
Well, that feels
Sashay,
like
you stay.
we weren't necessarily like committed to each other anyway. So it
Yeah.
feels like more consensual.
Mhm. I
If
know they
we're
still
broken
got
up,
pictures of me probably.
yeah, exactly.
I
But
wouldn't be
yeah, I was also like,
surprised.
most people don't do that. Anyway, sorry, this was a
Yeah.
huge tangent.
Sorry. Yes.
Back to we were
So
on Fuckboy
we were
Island.
on Fuckboy Island. So other shows I know Bachelor in Paradise are popular. I've seen
Mhm.
a couple episodes, not episodes, a couple seasons of The Bachelor, maybe two or three. I usually find myself watching that when someone else I'm around a lot starts watching it. Like for a time, coworkers were watching it, and like, oh, I was working at a place, and everybody in my clinical supervision watched the damn Bachelor. So I'm like, well, let me watch it too. This is what we talk
Yes.
about in here.
That people that watch The Bachelor love to talk to you about The Bachelor.
Yes.
I I've the only time I've ever really gotten into it, I wasn't even into it per se, but like I had lived with somebody who watched it and then would have a friend over to watch it every week, and I
Mm-hmm.
would just be around. Actually, it was The Golden Bachelor,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was interested in that as a concept just in general.
Yes.
And so I would be like, "Okay, I could see how people get into this, but like
It's
I'm yeah, indifferent."
people I mean, when I watched it, I was into it. Like I
Mhm.
mean, it'll captivate you, but like it's not one of my like, ooh, I'm gonna watch this season of The Bachelor. It's usually because someone else is watching it and like I might as well because that's what y'all talking about. Now I will
Yeah.
say people are almost I don't know if equally, but equally love to talk about Love Island in that way.
Mhm.
And I remember maybe it was last summer running into somebody in an elevator and we just had some moment, a Love Island moment. And we're like, yeah, and like some random
It
stranger.
really does connect
It
people,
does.
like, "Oh, you're watching this too?" I felt that way about the Mormon Wives show that I was
Yeah.
when I was watching that, and when somebody would watch it, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I cannot wait to talk to somebody about this." Like,
You just have a
yeah.
little micro conversation, like, girl, what did you think about this? And then you move on. Like, I never saw this woman again, but we had us a connection over Love Island. Um,
That's cute.
so it's a fun show. As you know, we watched The Ultimatum Queer Love, and then there's also
Yes,
The Ultimatum.
and
I
I'm
feel like,
sure they're still doing that show,
yeah,
but I haven't really heard much about it. It was good, but it didn't make me, like, really wanna go back to it.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like, I know there might be another regular I think they did do another season of just the regular show. They haven't done
Mhm.
another season of the Queer Love version, but
Yes, yeah.
yeah, they've had a 2 or 3 seasons of, like, the regular version, which I didn't really get that much into. I was very much into, like, the queer aspects. I'm like, "Oh,
Because
I
there's
wanna
not
watch
enough
that."
queer
Right.
dating reality shows. There's
Yeah.
just really not.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in 2025.
Right. And speaking of queer, Couple to Thruple, as which we
Yes.
watched
We
together.
enjoyed that as
That
well.
was a good messy time. Like, I like my shows messy, okay?
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
not too much seriousness. Like, ah, okay, it's not entertaining.
I'm out.
So then it got me thinking about the like I told Shelby earlier, I'm like, man, I've been watching reality television since I was in middle school.
It's our brains have been rotted for so long.
So long. Like in reality dating shows have been around like that long.
Mhm.
So, my first reality shows I think were like Real World, Road Rules.
Mhm. That was kind of the OG.
Yeah, yeah. And then so also in that era on MTV, you had Singled Out with Jenny McCarthy. And now I know this is before your
This is before my time.
conscious TV watching time. You were born,
Mhm.
but
I
not
was.
you were not you were a
I was
baby
not
Shelby,
watching, yes.
a little
I
Shelby.
do remember Jenny McCarthy being, like, a personality
Yes.
a
And
little
that
bit
was like
later.
really her like
Mhm.
her heyday, if you will. Like she was really
Yes,
popular
absolutely.
during that time. And that was a fun dating show. Now again, 95 through 98, I was in middle school.
Mhm.
So I was very young watching this. It was very much an adult show. I also remember I didn't put this on here. I can't remember what the show was called. Something line. No, not Dateline. Something line. But it was
Dateline.
I was like, not Dateline.
Not Dateline.
Not Daylight. But there was a show with like Dr. Drew and maybe Dr. Ruth was on there, and it was like a sex based show, but it wasn't like reality. It was more like people called in and asked questions. Like,
Yeah, because she always had I remember stumbling
yeah,
upon that, like, way too young.
yeah,
It was, like, late night and people would
yes,
ask their sex
yes,
questions, and I'd be in there taking notes about shit that I would never ever need to know about.
right. Never knew because it was like real. I mean, these are doctors, right? Like
Mhm.
experts in their field, really
Yeah.
giving like more intensive advice. So that was on. I remember that being on at the time. I don't remember doing a lot of watching. So then I was like, what was like the first reality dating show that I could remember? Now I had Blind Date in my mind before Singled Out, but apparently it came on in 1999, which
I
seems
don't remember
late.
Blind Date.
So Blind Date, this is what I remembered. Blind Date used to come on the TV before, like, not on cable TV. You could find it on later at night. Like I remember we had like box set TVs in our room. Now they were, like there was a remote and stuff. Now we had an old one that with
Yeah.
the knob and shit, but like but it came I don't know what channel, but one of those channels, there was no cable plugged up to the TV. So it's just whatever channels you can get on the antenna.
Yeah.
Blind Date came on one of those channels, and I think I read something that said it was like Universal World Television is what like originally where it came on, and
Okay.
then I think NBC adapted it at some point.
Interesting.
So that makes sense for me because I'm like, I mean, it really was not on like a network television channel. Like you
Hmm.
just found it on at night. It was like, oh, Blind Date's on,
Blind Date's on. Yeah.
and it was a
Huh.
time. Fifth Wheel
Okay.
came after
Long
that.
running show though.
Yeah, Blind Date was a time.
Yeah.
Like that limousine, like just things, just raw like reality before people decide to start putting on
Mhm.
personas and like,
Yeah, because now it's a whole thing, like, people are trying to be memeified so they can get a little
yes,
money and, like,
yes.
yeah, it's
Or they're
complicated.
trying to promote a business or something, like people always
Mhm.
have some other thing they're trying to do when they go on reality television and not just like
Yeah.
the thing that they're coming on for.
Yeah.
Change of Heart was a big one at the time. Like, again, like the clips are great. Like, this is like couples that would go on and talk about things that were going on in their relationship, and then they had a chance to
Oh,
like change their mind if they wanted to leave that person or like get with this other person.
that one sounds, like, vaguely familiar. I feel like I don't know if I ever watched it, but it does sound kind of familiar. It's almost like couples therapy or
Yeah,
something, like
yeah.
yeah,
But then there's these other options over on the other side of the wall. It's like, do you want
because
to
it has
stay
to be
with your
messy. Yeah.
boyfriend? Yeah, or do you want to date person number two? So that was Change of Heart. Then we had VH1,
Oh
Rock
my
of
god.
Love, Flavor
Okay,
of
here's where I
Love.
started to
This is
have
where you come in.
consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah. I was 8 in 2000, so
Right.
this is when I was starting to have some consciousness, and I feel like the way that these shows affected my brain, I'll never be able to
We'll never
understand.
really know.
Yeah. Yeah. Flavor of
Yes.
Love,
Flavor of
Rock of
Love.
Love,
Oh my
and then a lot of them
goodness.
had spinoffs. Then we had New I Love New
Yes.
York.
We have a Charm School, like all
Mhm.
kind of stuff that stemmed from like Rock of Love and
Yeah.
Flavor of Love. Like those are wild. Like I thought about that. I was like, I need to go back and watch Flavor of Love. Like that shit was wild.
Just an
New York and
insane
Pumpkin, like the spits.
so
My
many
God.
what obviously a viral moment, but, like,
Yes.
before the internet was what it is now, just, like,
Uh,
what a time to be alive.
a time. And I mean, that was around the same time that we were seeing like Bad Girls Club really come on
Mhm.
the scene, and that was popular. So all of this, like people were getting the behavior on reality TV and starting to go down.
Yes. Yeah. It's a really trashy
It's
time, if
getting
I do
real
say so
trashy at this
myself.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
hasn't
then
gotten much better, but, like,
no.
yeah.
People are now having conscious conversations about. I think now reality TV has gotten to the place where people again people are aware of
Mhm.
how they're going to be perceived. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of like personal editing. There's a
Yes.
like people are
It's
trying
not
to
as
control.
authentic as it
Yes.
used to be.
That's why we always love the first seasons of shows because people don't exactly know what they're getting into. And so they're
Right.
more natural. But once it
Yeah.
comes on, Love is Blind. Once it has one season, then you got
Then
these
people
other people
start
coming in.
acting
Yep.
crazy. Yeah. I haven't watched Love is Blind since the first season, which is crazy because it's
Yeah.
been on for, like, 6 years now.
Yeah. But I mean there I mean, hadn't gotten better. It's only
No.
gotten worse, and occasionally there are like viable couples
Mhm.
occasionally.
Like,
But
shout out
it's
to Cameron and Lauren because 'cause they're having a
they're
baby.
having a baby. I saw that. I
They're
was like,
so cute. They, like, really make I am grateful that I watched the first season of that show because 'cause they're
yes.
just, like, really easy to root for.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it made a lot of people hopeful. I think that's why it shot to the fame that it did
Mhm.
because it was like, okay, maybe this is something that works. And then of course after that, you got all kind of people on there for different reasons.
Yep.
So lastly, we had the MTV dating shows, which,
Oh my
took
god.
the
Again.
MTV spin. So we've got Room Raiders,
Room
we've
Raiders
got
with the black
Next.
lights.
Okay,
Next.
Room Raiders
I
was
love
crazy.
Next.
That's all of these were crazy. Like Date My Mom, Parental Control. I'm like, I would never be on parental control.
No way. No way.
And then we had Tila Tequila, which I never saw, but Tila Tequila was like, doing the bisexuality. Like,
Mm.
and that was very new at the time.
Yeah, yeah, at that
Yeah.
time, and it was not in, like, like, a fun, healthy way, it was,
No.
like, in a very sexualized,
Yes.
kind of gross way, and now she's, like have you seen her recently? She's, like, very she turned very religious and is very, like, kind of hateful and,
Oh
like yeah,
no.
kind of weird, I don't know. Tila
Uh,
Tequila's turned over a new leaf in a weird way.
I hate to hear that. I was like, okay. I mean, the religious part doesn't surprise me because a lot of this pendulum swing. Like when we go to
Yep,
the extreme ends of things,
all the
we
way one
tend to come
way.
back the other way
Yeah.
on the extreme end.
It's giving, like, conversion therapy or something, like,
Yikes!
yeah, it's not great, so,
I hate. Mm,
not good for her, but clearly
yeah.
she's not well. But
Oh,
the
hate to
rest
hear
of these
that.
shows you know what? Okay, quick question,
Yes.
this is not something to answer right now because I think it will take a little bit of thought. Maybe for next week, think about if you were on Next, what would be how you get off the bus and
Yes.
then it's like
Your bio.
I'm so and so, and it gives you like 3 things.
Ooh. Okay. 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 We're gonna have to write this down at the end so I remember to do it for next
Yeah,
week. Yes.
I'll write it down right now so I remember to
Yes.
talk about it later.
Pop
But
it
I
in
was
the
like, "Okay,
episode
what would
outline.
your 3 things be?" Because it was always just like the most
Ooh.
random shit that people would
Yeah.
say. So,
Okay.
think about that.
Yes, that'll be fun.
If we have any listeners that wanna write ones in for us, please
Yes.
do. I think that would be fun.
That is hilarious. Yes.
Anyway, that also was an era that, like, probably did stuff to my brain that was not healthy.
I
I'm
mean,
like
just
high school, middle school, watching
yeah.
Next, being like, "That guy just said Next as soon as she got off the bus because she, wears a size 6 or
Right.
whatever."
But you know
Like,
what's equivalent to that now?
hmm.
That balloon show or what has turned into a whole show, where they pop the red balloon, like the person comes out and you have that line
Oh,
of people and they're popping the
yes,
balloon.
yes. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, I've seen this on
Yeah.
TikTok. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. It
But that's
is
a
kind
whole
of
show. It's on Netflix
giving
now.
Next. Oh, is it
Yeah.
really?
Uh-huh.
Oh my
It's a
god.
show now. Yes.
Yeah, I think we're reverting back to this era in a way that I don't
Mhm.
like. Like,
Mhm.
same, with the micro shorts, with the low-rise jeans coming back, like, we're back in this everything is just so cyclical.
It really is. So it's like we
Yeah.
have both ends. We have the very like Puritan,
Mhm.
puritanical like viewpoints, and then we have the other extreme of like, nope. You gonna get all this body, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna basically have sex on television with
It's kinda wild.
Yeah, yeah, and we're here to consume it. So
We're here to consider it.
yeah,
Well,
so that's our reality dating show
a
conversation
recap.
recap. It was like, man, this is fun to think about. Like, oh man, remember that show? Like, remember this show?
Man,
Like,
I want a next reboot.
that would
I
be.
want a
I'm
reboot
telling
of
you,
some of
go
these
watch that
shows.
balloon show. It might fulfill
Close enough,
that
honestly, yeah.
need.
Might.
'Cause that man, I'm like, I would never go in that. Like, you're not gonna pop a balloon as soon as I walk out. Fuck you.
No.
Like,
No, rude. No, thank you.
that is rude. So yeah, I'm like, not before I open my mouth. You're not gonna pop a balloon on me.
Mm-mm.
'Cause I'll fight. I'm gonna fight. So, anyways,
On
let's get
that
into
note,
it. Let's get into
do
the
you yeah,
topics.
should we go ahead and get into the meats for the
We're
episode?
gonna get into the meats.
Let's do
So,
it.
speaking of dating, so it was
Great
appropriate,
segue.
topic to get into dating. We're gonna talk about the astrology of ghosting, zombieing, and mummifying. Like,
Okay, I had not heard these terms. Ghosting obviously is a very popular
yes,
term. I hadn't heard these other ones, so I'm excited
you
to
know
to
what?
get into the
That makes
conversation.
me feel better because you're younger than me, and
I am.
you know
I am.
I had heard lightly about zombieing, but I was like, "Okay, what is zombie?" But the mummify, I'm like, "What the hell? What is going
Yeah.
on?" So this came from part of it came from another. Oh, we'll have to do that another day. I was playing in ChatGPT about these different levels of dating because I was
Mhm.
watching Below Deck, and this couple they've been talking, they've getting together, whatever. So they started saying they were exclusive partners. I'm like,
Mhm.
what the fuck is exclusive partners, and how is that different from being boyfriend girlfriend? And so I went to ChatGPT or ChatGPT and I was like, "Hey, I'm old.
Yeah,
Like, what are all these different levels of dating?" And so it
people will
laid the
say
shit out.
anything to avoid emotional intimacy, I swear to God.
And so it laid it out. So I'm like, a topic for another day. But later related, we talked about these other terms like
Mhm.
zombieing and mudfarming. So ghosting, many of us are familiar with this term, meaning cutting off all communication without warning. Person just
Mhm.
like a poof, like a ghost, they're gone.
Can I also just say this is not in a relationship way, but I have a
Hmm.
friend, a good friend that's ghosting me right now, and I'm like, I feel a way about it. So this timing is, and because it can also happen
It
to your
can
friends. It's
also
not,
happen with friends.
yeah,
Absolutely.
doesn't necessarily just have to be dating.
Sometimes I'm a ghosty friend and I feel bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I mean, I've had to have conversations with friends about
Mhm.
that and because they felt a way about it. I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
so sorry. I mean, we've had to have some serious reconciliation kind of conversations
yeah.
because apparently I just hadn't
Well,
communicated in a long time.
and I am that way as well. Sometimes, like I used to, I'm better about it now. I really try not to.
Yeah.
I at least try to be like, hey, I'm in a space. I need. I'm
Yeah.
communicate something of like, hey,
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of space to do a lot of things right now, whatever.
Uh,
And so I've really tried to be better about it because I have the tendency to do that as well. It's not usually intentional for me,
yeah.
but I have a friend
Yeah.
that's ghosting me, and I feel like with her knowing who she is and knowing her placements, it's not for lack of like, it's not like a like, oh, I just forgot. It's like
It's
a
intentional.
it's intentional, and that is the part that I'm like, okay,
Are you
okay,
upset
I
about
really need you to tell me
something?
what's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I
Mm-hmm.
can't read your mind.
Yep,
I can't
and I'm
yeah,
not
like
gonna try, not gonna chase you.
yeah,
If it's a
I'm trying to
problem,
just
let's
like let it
talk.
lie right now,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm struggling with it, but
yeah.
whatever. I'll talk to my therapist about that.
That's hard because then it does leave the person trying to figure out this is the problem with ghosting is
Mhm.
what happened? Did I do something? Is there something
Mhm.
going on with you? Like,
Right.
I'm confused. Is this over? Like, are we not friends no
Yeah.
more? Like, you didn't say anything. So now I know nothing.
And it's like, I think part of that is the point is like
Huh?
that person wants there to be some reflection. And so I'm reflecting, but I really just cannot figure it out. I really just don't know what the fuck it
Communication
is.
works so much better than
And I'm
me
like,
trying to.
okay, this would be so much easier. But also there's heavy Virgo placements in there. And I'm like,
Mm,
that's you already know. You already know. Like the Virgo placements want you to like punish yourself about stuff. And I'm like, I'm
baby.
not gonna do it over something that I don't know what it is.
Nope.
If I know what it is, then yeah, I will. But
If
like,
you are not willing to communicate what's wrong, I'm not going to mentally work myself out trying to
Mm,
figure that out. We are
mhm.
both adults. Speak up.
Right, right.
Speak
So
up.
I'm really trying not to worry about it until it's time to worry about it,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to be like, "It's not all about me." It's like,
And that's
I'm gonna
true
let
too.
that person have their space,
Yep. Yep.
but
But if you know that person well enough and you're like, "Yeah, I don't think this is like I just got busy and whatever's going
no,
on."
it's not that,
Yeah.
'cause it never
Yeah. And
is.
then
It never is.
I am the
Like,
friend that
"Okay."
literally am just like, I'm a Pisces. I'm off in my
Yes,
own world. I'm doing A, B,
yes.
and C. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize it's been this long. I
Mhm.
think about you. I see you on social media. So I'm like, I feel like I'm in my mind, I'm keeping up
Right,
with you. And like,
right.
we might send a little something back and forth, but we haven't had a like real conversation. I'm like, okay, I get that. And different people have different needs. And so I'm like,
Yes.
heard.
Heard,
Um,
heard.
heard. So then we have zombieing. So I'm like, well,
Yeah, I didn't know about this,
what the
okay.
helly? So we
What the
got
helly?
zombies are ghosts who raised from the dead and text us things like, "Hey, big head. Hey,
Oh,
stranger." Or fill in whatever, whatever
hey,
the young people say
long
these
time no
days.
see.
Right.
Oh my
That little
god.
trying to see if you still willing to answer my text, that
Mhm.
kind of thing. So,
Man, I don't usually do this, but I am a sucker for it.
oh yeah,
Like, somebody will text me out of the blue when we haven't talked in a long time. More than likely, I'll be like, the past makes me forget so much. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
you let enough time pass. I'm like, "Oh my
Uh-huh.
god, hi." You
Yep.
get in the nostalgia.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's
Anyway.
good for a while again. Yeah, mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You already
yeah,
know.
I
You
know.
already know.
Well, I know. So, last we have the mummies. And so, mummies are people who wrap things up emotionally with you, but
Mhm.
leave just enough of a thread to keep you emotionally bound, which we
Mhm.
know is like breadcrumbing, right? Like that
Mhm.
emotional breadcrumbing. It's
Yes.
just very popular. I'll say this because we don't know when he's gonna come on or if he's gonna come on. If he does, oh well, he won't listen to this. I told Mr. Burke, so it's been a few years ago. I was like, "You be breadcrumbing me," to which he immediately
Yeah.
was upset.
But it's true. It's like, you want me to be waiting around for you because 'cause
Yeah,
you're busy, but when you're not
yeah.
busy, you
You
wanna
want
know
me
that
to?
somebody's gonna be there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that I may or may not be. It's like if
Right.
somebody come along, I'm not going to be there.
I may or may
I'm
not
like,
be.
oh, hey, that's this other person.
Distracted all of a sudden.
So
Mhm.
my chat GPT was like, it literally was like, "Oh, this is juicy." Like, da, da, da. I was like, not chat GPT talking to me like this. It was like, I love this for you. It almost sounded like I was talking to you. And I was like, is this Shelby?
Is it reading our text? Because I frequently will
Right?
say, "I love this for you."
Like, is it adapting Shelby's voice? Like,
Oops.
this is so
Has it listened to
wild.
the podcast?
It does know about it.
It might it might,
That is
you know,
wild.
be able to read the transcripts or whatever. Anyway, we'll think
So
about that later.
we'll contemplate that. Let's talk about who. Oh, well, the next question I said was how does dating culture and online dating feed the
Mm,
behavior of ghosting? Which I do think there's definitely a correlation
mhm.
with the rise of this behavior, and I think maybe some of the communication that you do in apps, like it's very normal
Yes.
to just stop talking to somebody that
Yep.
you've been conversing with on this app. Just like, okay, yeah, I just don't
Yeah,
talk to that person anymore.
it really I think the apps have really served to make everybody less emotionally available, like,
Mhm.
because there's, like, this illusion that there's so many options.
Uh, mhm.
'Cause there's always another app to swipe on, and there's always more people to look at, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so then people are less invested in the individual connections. It's really
Like,
been
oh, more out
I feel
there.
like you could write a whole thesis on this alone, talk about doctoral
It
programs,
won't be mine, but
you know?
yes, absolutely. Because I mean, I'm exhausted with it, so I haven't been on the
Yeah,
apps in some few years. But I'm like, if I don't meet the person in life or it's work, it's gonna have to be in person because
yeah.
that swiping. I mean, you just do it when you're bored. You just be swiping at
Yeah,
people, and I'm like, what is
I don't
this?
like it, I
It's
don't like it.
terrible.
The energy behind it is not sounding good.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good on that. So, who ghosts? What are the signs and placements that are most likely to vanish on you? So,
I have a
top
feeling
two
I know.
containers, energies or elements. First, we have our fire signs.
Of course. Yeah, that
Now,
sounds right. Very impulsive.
especially our Aries and our Sag, I would say, over Leo. Leo
Mhm.
has, they're known to be a little more loyal or they
A little
like
more loyal.
loyalty, so
That's
they're
right.
more likely to hang around. We know Aries, very impulsive. We know Sag, it's good
Loves
for
to
a
start and
short
not
time.
finish.
Yep,
Not a
not a
long
long
time.
time. Here for a
Yes.
good time, not a long time. And
Yeah.
so, so those energies really, they're here for now. Don't get too attached. Now, sometimes, not to say that they won't, but most likely to just dip out on you.
Mhm.
They're leading the pack.
Yeah.
Um, Now, Leo, it does say here that Leo can ghost to protect their pride.
'Cause they are
They
very
are
yep,
very prideful,
very
but
prideful.
I feel like less likely of the three.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say so. That
yeah.
sounds right to me as well.
Sag again wants to keep it light, keep it fun. So if you're not keeping it light and fun, they're like, it's too serious.
This is so funny because one of my very good friends is a Sag. She embodies the sign in almost every way. But we had a conversation once about we're both with, a long-term partner, and
Mhm.
I would talked about how I like, when I am in a relationship, I tend to want the partner to be like I really want the intimacy, right? I want them
Yeah.
direct eye contact. I want like, a lot of heavy closeness. And then I do want my
Uh-huh.
alone time, but when we're together, I want you all the way here.
Yes.
She was talking about how she even in a relationship wants to be loved from afar.
Uh-huh.
And so like she has this tendency like when things get too intimate or too real to be like, no, go back over there. Like it
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
very much tracks with this.
Mhm. Mhm. It's what I've learned about, my friend, my Virgo friend has a Sag moon. Very much like I've learned
Mhm.
to we
Love me
communicate a
from
little bit.
afar.
Let me give
Yeah.
you like 2 weeks of space.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I don't want to be too
Yep.
much for you.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, very, very real. So next we have our air signs. They come in the mix of ghosty individuals. So,
Mhm.
that's our Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Now, there's a level of detachment, also overthinking with, our air signs. Again, a lot of mental energy, right?
Yes. Yes.
So just a lot of like, well, what about, just overthinking situations and
Mhm.
likely probably just let too much time pass
Mhm.
and then they get
They've thought
into
about it too long.
yeah, it's in the trouble zone, and then you're like, well, it's taking too
Well,
much time has passed now, so sorry. They might not have
yeah.
meant to get, to ghost you, but it
It does
happens.
happen. It does happen.
Geminis, they get distracted. Gemini has a lot going on in their mind, right? Like there's a lot of different things. So they get distracted. Libra hates confrontation. They love to harmony. Harmony.
Yes.
We want everyone to get along. So they might quietly disappear. So, they don't hurt your feelings. I'm like, now why you think that this wouldn't hurt my feelings?
I'd rather you were honest with me
Hello? Then
cuz
just
not talking to me
disappear.
hurts my
It hurts
feelings
my
in a
feelings. Now I
different
don't know what
way. But there's no
happens.
confrontation involved.
No confrontation. It's harmonious. And that same Libra might see you in the streets later and be like, "Hey," and you're like, "The fuck?
Yeah.
You ghosted me. We're not
Right. Don't come back
cool."
around now. Don't
Right.
zombie me now.
Don't
Don't rise
zombie
back
me
up from the
because
dead.
I'll send you right back to the dead. Okay. Then you got your Aquarius who just kind of associates. They just I don't know.
This
Was that me? Are you sure? No, Aquarius will gaslight the shit out of you. That was no. That wasn't it. No.
My Aquarius, Venus, and Mars are feeling a little like, "Oh,
I feel
oh,
attacked.
oh no."
I feel attacked.
Is it accurate though? Yeah, that's probably not too far off, honestly. Again, really try to recognize it in myself, but I know now that
Awareness.
my natural instinct is to dissociate and just be like, "Huh? Oh, that's not
Mhm.
what I thought happened." No.
We were totally emotionally like, bonding or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Aquarius, you got to watch that Aquarius
I really
because
have to watch it. I really
it's
have to
different.
watch it. It's a thing.
It's a thing. So now, speaking of Aquarius, chart indicators that you might be a ghoster.
Mhm.
So strong Uranus or Aquarius placement.
Mhm.
It speaks to like some avoidance, they value independence. And Aquarius is very much like that. Remember, this is non traditional.
Mhm.
So, like, they really need that to continue to feel like they're their own person.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
Man, I have in the past ghosted quite a few people, so this is
it comes
penance for
out.
me.
It comes
Yeah,
out.
unfortunately. Yeah.
And so, again, awareness, understanding, we're just understanding ourselves better. Like, okay, these are my needs. So now I know if that need's not being met, like we can communicate around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also having mutable sign dominance in your chart is an indicator.
Mm.
Yes. Puts me in the boat too now. So strong Gemini, Virgo, Sag, or Pisces placements. You can
Uh-huh.
struggle with follow through and commitment.
Mhm.
Again, speaking of us, there we are. And so things to look out for. Now, who gets ghosted? Now you know it's us.
We've all yeah.
So
I have been the ghoster and I've been the
and the ghosting.
ghostee more than once.
Oh, I'm trying to think if I've
Mm.
ever been ghosted. I don't nothing that I can really pull up in my mind about ghosting. Now, there's other bullshit that has happened, but I don't know if I've been ghosted in particular. But I'm
I
also
f
like, I don't know that I've ghosted anyone dating wise. I've definitely not ghosted anyone in the
Mhm.
dating realm. Apparently, I've ghosted some friends. Shy, I'm very sorry for. Uh,
Which
Water
I am sorry
signs.
for.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm trying to live better. So
We're all
Cancer.
doing our best.
We're all just doing our best. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are water signs. They are deep feelers and they really want that emotional reciprocity, right? And
Mhm.
so, sometimes we can come on too strong with those emotional needs and unintentionally, right? We're not trying to
Yeah.
be clingy or anything like that. We're
No,
just,
of
we
course not,
just have
but it happens. And I don't even feel clingy per se, but, like, just any express like, again, in a world where, like, a lot of people are not emotionally available, I feel like I do have a lot of emotional availability. And so
right.
sometimes people that kinda, like, scares people off. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna ask me to get into my feelings? I don't wanna do that.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't wanna do that."
It's like we don't
Mm,
want to get into all of that. So now, interestingly, us very feeling people tend to attract avoidant people or people who are unavailable emotionally. And I'm like, no, what the fuck is that? Like, why is that exactly that we
mhm.
attract people who are not emotionally available instead of other people like us?
I don't know.
Don't
It's like
know.
if you don't want what you can have.
Surely, you want that other thing because it just, there's something intriguing about that person that's just not quite interest What
Yeah.
is that? I don't know.
Why
That's
not?
weird as hell, but it is a thing. I'm like, I can't. Um,
Mhm.
so also our earth signs, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Now, our earth and water moon signs in particular, these
Oh.
people tend to be more likely to take things personally or
Mhm,
deeply. They internalize very deeply.
mhm.
And so they may have a harder time detaching from those emotionalist ends. And therefore, again, the person's like, let me pull away and let me just cut this off because they got a lot going on. They're very attached. So it's an interesting balance that we always have to play. Because again, as people who are more feeling and emotional, you have to kind of know how to tame yourself enough for other people to feel safe and that you're not
Uh-huh.
doing too much and like it's too intense for them, whatever. So you gotta, there's always this kind of this push pull. This is why dating no one likes it. You gotta
You have to
figure out
get
how to
through.
present yourself. Yeah.
Yes, and it's so exhausting to just
Yes.
constantly be thinking about how you're presenting to yourself to other people. Can I just be
Constant.
myself? Can we
Yes.
just skip to the part where we're
Can
very
we just
close and you
skip
already
to
know all my deep
yes.
dark
Can we
secrets
just
and
skip
you
to
still
that
love me
part?
anyway?
Yes. That's where I wanna be right now. Like, how do
Right.
we get to that part? But, we'll be in this beginning and wondering what if stage. Like, we'll be there right now. It's fine. So now zombies and mummies. Zombies and mummies. Zombies and mummies. Mummy. So now our zombies to be our fire and air signs
Uh-huh.
who realize, oh wait, you're actually kinda great.
They acted too impulsively by leaving
Yeah.
and not following through,
Uh-huh.
and now they're coming back around to be like, "Wait, wait, wait, wait. Change my
Mhm.
mind."
Mhm. These
Mhm.
are also the people to watch out for in Mercury retrograde. Talk about things coming back, Venus retrograde, people coming back. These are the people. These are the zombies. They popping back up. So, keep your eyes open, your heart's closed.
Yes, exactly, I like that. Eyes open,
Eyes open,
hearts
hearts
closed.
closed. Like, we got to hold on, you don't have the key to that yet. So, now with our mummifying folks, we talk about that emotional breadcrumbing,
Mhm.
Mars and Pisces,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Venus
yeah.
square Neptune in the charts,
Mhm.
and 12th house place.
Oof, yes.
See, the 12th house placements again. Now, okay, wait, mummies are the people who didn't close it off. No, do we tend to have things that linger emotionally? Absolutely. So maybe, yeah, maybe that's the thing. Like, we don't really want to fully cut it off.
Right, right. Still there, just a little
It's
bit.
just a little bit. These are people like they ghost you, but they still watch all your IG stories. That shit
Man,
is annoying.
that
Get
is
off of here.
annoying. That's frustrating. What are you still doing
Why
here?
are you here?
I'm tempted to
Yes.
unfollow, like, to make you unfollow me.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna have to block you because what are you doing? Like that was the time I found one of my ex-boyfriends was following me on IG and we broke up long before I even had an IG. So I'm like, what are you doing on here?
What do you yeah.
Just
Viewing my
creeping.
stories?
Viewing my stories. That's how I knew he was on there too, because I was looking to see something else. Like, oh, on here following me. But yes, he was. I'm like, look at you,
Mhm.
still wonder. I still wonder about it. That was the one that got a girl pregnant. I was like, well, that's the end of that.
That's the end of that, for
It's
sure.
done
We're
for
done
me.
now, so sorry. Okay, bye.
Goodbye. So, okay, now we're coming to the end here. Why people ghost, right? What is the reason? Now,
Let's get into it.
you've got people, we fear confrontation or emotional
Mhm.
discomfort, right? We don't want to have the hard conversations. It's like what's going to happen? I don't know. What are we afraid of about the hard conversations that we're going to hurt somebody
I think
that
again, it to have a hard conversation like that, it does require vulnerability. And
uh-huh.
like we're not emotionally available. We're like constantly dissociating. The society that we live in is
Uh-huh.
encouraging us to dissociate. So like when we do have to tune in, we're scared of it. We don't
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like we just, it's hard to just tell someone, hey, it's been fun getting to know you, but I don't think that this is going to go any further. We can't do that. And
Mhm.
that's, we're going to have to grow from there. So, these people, maybe our Libra, Pisces, and Cancer placements, less likely to want to have hard conversations with each other
Mhm. Mhm.
or with people in general. And we also have impulse and boredom that plays a
Mm.
part. So
Yeah.
just, oh, there's something new, something new. Those people should be on Love Island.
Yep.
Now we also have our Aries, our Geminis, and our Sagittariuses,
Mm.
who there's like a power and control dynamic to this.
Mm.
So it's kind of
Interesting.
fun to play this like cat and mouse, like see
Yeah.
if I can pull them back in later.
This is some Gemini especially, I
Hmm.
feel, is like it's giving this
They
energy.
still feeling me the same. Let's see
They
if I
just wanna
can,
know.
yeah. And some people really do just want to know. They're not actually interested in getting back with you. They just want to
Mhm.
know that they still can. And
Yeah.
so it's important to know what that's happening.
Mhm.
But then we also have our Scorpio and Capricorns that can also be in this place again, another end of that power and control dynamic, Scorpio
Mhm.
especially. But I think
Yes.
Capricorn, low key, like Capricorn kind of comes in under the gate, but
Yeah. No, I could see
definitely,
that.
yeah, exercising that power and control dynamic.
They both of these signs to me are kind of giving, like, if they are ghosting you, it's intentional.
Uh,
It's
there's like
very
a
intentional.
dominance
Yeah.
involved. I want you to work back to me, like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
grovel, figure it out. I
Yeah.
want you to
Exactly.
squirm, like,
Exactly. I wanna make you
mhm.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So thinking about attachment styles, when we talk about like your moon, your Venus, seventh house activity, right? So it speaks a lot to your relationship style. Look at those things.
Mhm.
Look at your Uranus or Neptune aspects, look at like escapism, avoidance, delusion, like how attuned are you to these things?
Mhm.
So now we'll talk real briefly about like how do we correct from this kind of behavior?
How do we course correct?
How do
Yes.
we
I'm
course
working on it every
correct?
day.
Yes, because again, we could
Emotional
talk
growth.
about problems, right? Yeah, but like let's be solutions focused.
Solutions focus. I like
Solutions
that.
focused. We're therapists over here. So, you've got to own your closure, right? You might not always get that from the other person. And we hear this
Mhm.
all the time. Like, you got to provide closure for yourself. But, like, it's easier, definitely easier said than done.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to be done in like really making that right for yourself.
Yeah.
And so just, know that that's a thing and
Mhm.
it is work. It's called work for a reason. So we got to do our
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Look to your Saturn or Chiron placements for growth. So maybe things you need
Daddy
to do.
Saturn will
Uh-huh.
always tell you what to do.
Daddy Saturn's always got them lessons for you, okay? And so sometimes it's a lesson. I'm not going to divert to that. So we're at the end. So also look at your Mars placements, right? How do you assert your boundaries?
Mhm.
Sometimes we might have them internally, but if we've got, I'd say a softer, but a more gentle sign placement in that Mars,
Yeah.
like we're probably less likely to actually confront things that we need to.
Mhm.
And look at
Yeah.
what energy we're attracting. So,
Yeah.
like all that earth energy that I love to attract, that sometimes emotionally avoidant, or that, that Aquarius air energy that I also like to attract,
Mhm.
that can be, like, yeah, let's sleep together a couple times, but yeah, we're great friends. Let's just be friends. Well,
Okay,
why
they
do we need
introduced
to
you as a
fuck
friend.
a couple of times over here? Like, you just want to
If
be
we
my
fucked, we're not
friend. We're
friends.
not friends, but Aquarius loves to do that. Like, they just, fuck my friends and then
Yeah.
continue to be friends with them.
Mhm.
It's a
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
interesting space. Also, take attention to your Venus placement. Are
Mhm.
you picking up emotionally unavailable partners? Me, it's
Answer is yes.
me.
Yeah.
And again, use those retrogrades. Like again, like they're not just scary time periods; they're time for us to reflect. Use them.
Yeah. That's what
Use
it's
them.
for. It's to do a review.
Yes. And
Get your shit
so
together.
Venus and Mercury, yes, especially like reflect.
Mm.
Don't reconnect.
Don't necessarily
We
reconnect.
had we
Maybe
had 2 in here.
after.
Reflect, don't reconnect. What was the other one I said? I forgot already.
Reflect.
We're not
Yeah.
going we won't spend time thinking about it. So, y'all heard it in the earlier part of the episode. Well, I'll
Right.
I'll hear it
Right.
back later, but we'll have to put those in a graphic or something for this
We'll do
week.
that. Yeah. There we go.
So, okay, we got through it, y'all. We
We
got
did
through the
it.
content. So we're at the end of the show. I don't know next week, y'all. It's gonna be a surprise to us
Tune
all
in
what we're
to find
talking about
out.
next week.
So now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, there was something we said earlier in the episode that I was like, oh, we could do an episode about that. And now I forgot what it was.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
It's I'm
We'll talk.
like, we won't go on
It'll be
to
a
yes.
surprise,
Surprise,
surprise.
surprise. Yes. We love a surprise.
We love to
So
see it.
until then, engage with the polls. We will have a poll this week.
Yes.
Engage with that, and share with us your next your profile, 3 bullet
Yes.
points about you.
Yes.
Share with us
Maybe 3 bullet points for your sign
for
too. I
your
think that could be fun.
yeah,
That would be a fun
yeah.
meme format.
Absolutely. So do that. If you would like to get in contact with us, questions, comments, or readings,
You know how to
email
do it.
us. Yes, such a
Yes.
Pisces pod at gmail.com. And that is spelled SUCHAPISCESPOD at gmail.com.
And of course, you can also find us at Such a Pisces Pod on TikTok, on Instagram, and a few other places here and there on different corners of the internet. Such a Pisces Pod. Really, I've really been trying to put out TikTok content. So please go follow us on TikTok.
Follow us on TikTok, y'all.
Come
Boom.
on, it's fun over there.
It's a good time. It's a time.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, again, share the episode with a friend. Maybe somebody gets ghosted frequently. Maybe they need to hear some of this and review their chart.
Check
Maybe
your
they need to
chart.
send, their chart to us so we can review.
Look
Let
at
us
it.
know. And of
Yes.
course, if you haven't already, give us a 5-star rating. If you made it this far into a 2.5-hour episode and you
You
haven't
like us.
followed us on your platform of choice, like what are you doing? If
What
you
are
haven't
you
given us a
doing?
review, what are you doing? Come
Yeah, come on.
on. Help us out.
Get it
Clearly you
together.
like us. Or you hate listening, which why would you do that to yourself?
I mean, it's a long time to hate listen, but I'll take any of the listens. You
I'll
can
take
love
it.
or hate
I'm
listen.
happy about
Just
it.
listen.
Okay, yes, I will take it.
We'll take all the views and the listens, okay? So, until next week, y'all, stay safe in these streets and protect your energy.
And of course, as always, continue to seduce and scheme safely.
All
Bye,
right?
y'all.